hit for Rodriguez here in the ninth. That ball is driven to right. We are tied.
Stun left me a while ago.
Did he do it again? He did!
Now we got to win 2 games instead of 1.
With 2 swings of the bat, Raul Ibanez became the talk of this town. He put the Yankees a win away from the American League Championship Series, and he put the Baltimore Orioles' dream season on the brink. Tonight, from Yankee Stadium, Game 4, Orioles and Yankees, here on TBS. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Bronx. Along with John Smoltz and Cal Ripken, I'm Ernie Johnson. John, this was a special night of baseball. If you're a baseball fan, you had to love the drama here. You've had about 24 hours to reflect on it. What jumps out at you about what the Yankees were able to accomplish?
Well, first of all, it was unbelievable. It's a historic franchise. We know about their championships, and it was a historic night for a guy that they brought in to be part-time. And he pinch hit at the right time. The manager made the right call, and in these 2 swings, it has given them an advantage to make their quest to the World Series, up 2-1. He has picked up a team and teammates that have struggled, and it's been fun to watch. This is a team that uses more players than they have in the past, and they're going to ask Phil Hughes to just go out and do what the other 3 starters did, give them a chance to be great. He doesn't have to be historic. He just has to be good enough to have teammates pick him up and pass the ball to CC Sabathia, who in a perfect world would start the ALCS Game 1, not Game 5 in the division series.
Meantime, for the Baltimore Orioles, it's an elimination game for the 2nd time in this postseason. The first was in the wild card game. They sent Joe Saunders to the mound that night, and he won in Texas. He gets the ball again tonight, Cal.
Well, yeah, sure, it's all about the pitching, and he has his challenges, but to me, it's about the Orioles trying to find their offense tonight. And this might be the best opportunity against Phil Hughes. He's given up 35 long balls, and the Orioles' offense is predicated by the long balls. So you got Wieters and Jones and Hardy and Reynolds, who played such an important part. They need to find their offense tonight. The Orioles need to find their offense tonight. Can they still win? Just think, if Jimmy Johnson would have pitched in the postseason like he did in the regular season, the Orioles might be playing for a clinch.
As it turns out, it's the Yankees 1 win away. It's Game 4 of the American League Division Series here on TBS. Back with the first pitch right after this.
The League Division Series on TBS is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. By T-Mobile. Test drive our nationwide 4G network. And by Miller 64. Returning to fitness with beer as my witness.
Welcome back to Yankee Stadium. The Yankees have taken the field. We check in with Craig Sager. Craig.
A moment of silence was observed before tonight's game for Jerry Girardi, Yankee manager Joe Girardi's father, who passed away at the age of 81. We were in Joe's office this afternoon when, with a tremble in his normally confident voice, he confided that he has known since Saturday, but knew how difficult talking about it would be, and he did not want to be a distraction to his team. This past several days, with poise, concentration, and emotional control, he has gone about his job in the most demanding of circumstances, constantly remembering his father, who was always preaching, finish the job at hand. A funeral mass will be held Monday morning in Girardi's hometown of Peoria, Illinois. EJ?
Thank you very much, Craig. And have obviously sobering news today that we were greeted with. And Joe, in our meetings with him, has often spoken of his father, who has had Alzheimer's for several years. And he's the guy that Joe gave his 1996 World Series ring to, and where he got his work ethic. And if that doesn't sound like a mantra, a theme for this team to follow, finish the job, I don't know what does. We are just about set to go here, game 4. And Nate McLouth will lead it off for the Baltimore Orioles against Phil Hughes.
Well, for Phil Hughes, he hasn't been out there for 10+ days. This will be a good opportunity to try to knock the rust off, see how his fastball command is early. As we've talked about, he's given up a lot of home runs, 22 here. He likes pitching here, 11 wins. But for the Orioles, this will be a different type pitch game that they've seen. Previous 3 games will not be by the Yankee starters.
Ball and a strike to McLouth, who's hitting .308 in this series, .294 when you count the wild card game. Breaking pitch misses, 2 balls and a strike. He leads the Orioles in postseason RBIs with 4, and that's one of the problems Cal pointed to early, that really the engine room of this team, the Big Boppers, have not produced at this point. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He certainly added another element to this offense, the stolen base, getting on base, but you don't really expect him to provide all the RBIs. That comes from the big guys, the guys that hit the home runs. And this is their opportunity to get their offense started, and they need it.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Hughes to the plate.
Oh, it's so amazing about baseball. During the regular season, you play just about every day, and obviously coming after a historic, emotional night, unlike any other sport, you're only really as good as your next day pitcher. And if he goes out there and provides the energy that continues from last night, you're in good shape. If not, obviously last night stands alone. And then the Orioles have done what they needed to do to get back into this series.
There's the man of the hour, or the man of the past several hours, Raul Ibanez. And it's a 3-2 count to the leadoff hitter, Nate McLouth.
Hey, John, you certainly call this a home run ballpark, being a pitcher, of course. Hughes has given up 22 long balls, a major league high here.
Yeah, and yet he won 11 games, so that tells you his team is doing the same thing as well. And when you're a fly ball pitcher, you really can't change. You know, it's kind of like the Colorado theory. How do you adapt and pitch in a stadium that renders more runs? I mean, the biggest thing you have to do is be effective and make them solo. You cannot allow the 2- and 3-run homer.
And McLouth draws a leadoff walk. Here's the batting order that Buck Showalter has for the Orioles. J.J. Hardy stepping to the plate. Then it's Chris Davis, Adam Jones in the cleanup spot. Matt Wieters does the catching. The 42-year-old veteran Jim Thome, the DH. Then it's Mark Reynolds. And then the home run hitters from last night, the rookies Ryan Flaherty and Manny Machado. McLouth with a lead at first, and Hardy steps in and swings and misses. 0-1. The major difference you're going to find defensively for the Yankees is that Derek Jeter is not at shortstop. He will be the designated hitter tonight, but he fouled that ball off of his foot last night and was hobbled. Left the game early last night, late in the game, but early in terms of before the game was finished, as Hardy lays down the bunt. Will it roll foul? No, it will not. How about that?
Normally the home team knows which way that line is leveled, whether it goes back in the fair territory. In the old days, they certainly would slant this line. No way to read this. Takes a bad hop. It looks like it's going to go foul and stays right on the line.
That is unbelievable. I mean, if you're Baltimore, you need kind of these things to start off in a race last night, and that's a great start to what was a really tough ending. And now they've got a chance to put pressure on Phil Hughes, who hasn't been out there in 10+ days since his last start.
0-1 to Chris Davis. Runners at first and second against Phil Hughes.
Well, for Phil Hughes, you got to shut down the righties, and that would be normally what you would think, but over 300 against right-handers this year. Limit the long balls, we've already talked, and then that fastball command. That's huge for him because he's got a slider and a curveball that he can go to that gives the left-handers, ironically, the most problems. But the right-handers in this lineup, you got to control that, because 300 is just unheard of righty on righty.
a slight change in the strategy. Buck chose to bunt, you know, almost in a sacrifice bunting position, because in a game like this, you want to play out front.
Up and away to Davis. 2 balls and a strike.
You know, people who have not understand what 10 days off will do. I mean, yeah, you throw your bullpens, and he probably threw about 3 of them, but they're not the same. The intensity's not the same. You've got to be able to get familiar with the strike zone, get your mechanics working, because let's face it, during the season, you're going every 5 days, and that shouldn't be an issue during the season.
The count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So with Jeter DHing tonight, Jason Nix gets the start at shortstop for the New York Yankees.
You know, I think that would be a problem normally, but this year Joe Girardi used the DH to spread around. Many times he used it to have Derek Jeter be the DH, and other people get experience in that position, in that role.
In the air to left field. Routine for Ichiro, 1 down. So here's the way the Yankees line up defensively. Ichiro just made that play in left, Granderson in center, and Swisher in right. A-Rod, who DH'd last night, back at third tonight. Teixeira at first, then up the middle. Jason Nixon, Robbie Cano with Russell Martin at the plate.
You know, when I look at those numbers, 211 against left-handers, 308 against right-handers, one would think that, you know, what could lead to that? A fastball that leaks over the plate to right-handers is going away from left-handers. So fastball command, that's why I think it's so important. And a lot of those home runs are going to be via the fastball. He's a fly ball pitcher in a park that you really can't afford too many fly balls.
Swing and a miss by Adam Jones, 0-1.
And there you have 11 home runs against left-handers, but 24 against right-handers, 22 of them at home.
That's in the air to center. Granderson had him played perfectly. Second out, McLouth tags and moves to third. They're at the corners with 2 down.
You know, John, what that tells me, when a right-hander dominates, you wonder whether that right-handed breaking ball is good. So he has that overhand hook that might hang and stay in the middle of the plate a little bit. And lots been talked about maybe making that a sweeping slider. He's added a slider there, but I don't think he's perfected that. So if you don't have a breaking ball that's breaking away from you, you have a tendency to hang that pitch, and that might be his problem with the righties.
Well, part of the thing, too, you've got to command the outside part of the plate against right-handers, and if it leaks back over the plate, you know, you could get some severe damage brought your way. I think he's more comfortable to lefties. And to your point, I think pitching this day and age has gone to the hard slider / cutter. I don't know what's necessarily better. The curveball is kind of a dinosaur, and when you throw up and down with your fastballs and you can throw curveballs to change the eye levels, I think that is something that works well with Phil Hughes. But he tried to work in a changeup, and he's trying to find himself this year and had a pretty good year.
Matt Wieters takes down low, 2 balls and no strikes. Here's a guy who knocked in 83 runs in the regular season, had 23 home runs, but does not have a home run or an RBI in this postseason. Hitting .059, 1 for 17. And he's up in a big spot here in the top half of the first with runners at first and third and 2 down. Now 3 balls and no strikes. Jim Thome waits on deck.
And this certainly is where Wieters has done some heavy damage over the last 2 years. 7 for 8 in 3-0 counts, 2 home runs. He's confident swinging in this count.
Swinging out a 3-0 here to center field. Granderson back to the track and makes the play, and that does it for the Orioles in their half of the first. Orioles put a couple of guys on in the top half of the first, but can't move them on. And that brings the Yankees to the plate with Derek Jeter leading it off. Then it's Ichiro in the 2 spot. Mark Teixeira hits third. Robbie Cano in the cleanup spot. And Alex Rodriguez hits 5th here in Game 4. He's followed by Nick Swisher, Russell Martin. The center fielder Curtis Granderson hits 8th. And Jason Nix playing shortstop tonight at ninth against Joe Saunders.
Well, Joe Saunders already in his brief stint with Baltimore has pitched an elimination game. His overall record is there, but one of the things that he has been able to do is mix and match. Only one walk his last 28 and a third innings. Got to change speeds. He must own the lefties and no crooked numbers. These are the things that'll keep your chances and the momentum going for Baltimore in a way that you get too far behind, you start thinking about your chances that have gone awry.
There you see the left foot of Derek Jeter, fouled a ball off of it right there. Not the same injury as the bone bruise to the left ankle that had bothered him the last month of the season. He was hobbled last night. Had to talk Joe Girardi into giving him that last at bat in the 8th inning. He did pick up a couple of hits on the night, and then Jason Nix came on as a defensive replacement for him in a game that went 12. Fouled off the right side. No balls and 2 strikes. Here it was last night. Cal, can you describe how that feels when you foul the ball right off your pup?
It hurts. I've hit so many balls off that front. It depends upon where it hits. Sometimes it doesn't hurt at all, but that one, I guarantee you, hurt.
Reaches out, pokes it wide of first, and the race to the bag is won by Saunders by a hair over Jeter. Got down the line pretty good.
Yeah, look how well he ran down the line. So yesterday it bothered him. It swelled up a little bit. Sometimes you can hit it right on that instep, and I think that's where exactly he hit, where you start to have some swelling. But that's a good indication for Derek and the Yankees. He ran down to first base very well.
Good job by Saunders getting the front part of that bag to help out the umpire and make that call.
So here's Ichiro. Yankees got some guys who have put up some numbers against Joe Saunders in their careers. Jeter 455, Ichiro 341. A-Rod 400 against him. Ibanez, who's not in the starting lineup, 348.
Well, Buck Showalter would respond to that saying, what have they done against them lately? That's a few years ago.
A ball and 2 strikes.
Well, he has not given up a home run to a left-handed hitter this season. 169 at bats.
To third. Machado. Boy, has he got a gun. 2 up and 2 down. Here's the way the Orioles line up defensively. McLeod, Jones, and Davis from left to right. Manny Machado is 20 years old, holding down third base. Mark Reynolds at first. J.J. Hardy and Ryan Flaherty up the middle. And Matt Wieters behind the plate. Here's Mark Teixeira, the switch hitter. Third in the lineup tonight. 4 out of 12 in the series with an RBI. Ran it inside and missed. 2 balls and a strike. One thing that jumped out, John, when we talked about the performance that Saunders had against the Texas Rangers in that wild card game, boy, did they help him out defensively with 3 double plays, which were really timely in that outing.
Yeah, you know, when you see him pitch, it looks like maybe at home the ball just kind of floats to home plate. Well, he varies the speeds on all of his pitches. He's got a good changeup and a good curveball, but throwing strikes is the key, and picking your spots. And he walks Teixeira as we're talking about the 1 walk in 28 plus innings.
Hey, John, I've noticed a little trend here. Normally when you watch a Saunders game, he likes to establish the fastball away, especially the righties. He's mixing in a lot of off-speed pitches early.
Yeah, and I think as pitchers, you watch your film, you see what guys' successes have been against you, and you try to alter in ways that maybe get them to think differently. When you start a game, you know you're going to face these guys a couple times. You go in with a game plan, and the goal would be to have the hitters adjust first before you have to adjust.
Here's the cleanup hitter, Robbie Cano.
Well, from a hitter's perspective, you certainly want to look from the bench and watch the pitches and see if there's a pattern that develops. And to me, it says, whoa, a lot of curveballs, a lot of off-speed pitches already. So I'm going to go up there ready for the off-speed pitches.
That's over for a strike, 1-1.
Well, for Saunders, as the count goes in the hitter's favor, so does the average. You know, 2-0, 3-0, those averages are way up there. When he goes 0-2, it's 0.95. It's under the Mendoza there, under the highway there. But he's got to find a way, and he's trying to feel his way on, are the Yankee hitters going to be aggressive? Are they going to feed off last night, attack fastballs? And he's got to play that cat and mouse game and feel it out as well as does Hughes. And you're always trying to gauge how aggressive a team is.
Well, I would say one thing is his fastball is not as fast as it's been. I saw the 85 on the first pitch to Jeter. I thought that might be a changeup, and 87 right now. So that could be an indication he doesn't have his better fastball today.
Cano fouls it off at the plate, makes the play himself. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 out, and Teixeira at first.
Because he's had the ability to push it up there to 91 when he needs it. Pitch right around 90. Good sinking action. He might get down in the 80s. But an 87 and an 85, that's concerning.
The 2-2. To center field. Adam Jones wraps it up. And that does it for the Yankees in the first. We head to the second in the Bronx. Play TBS Social Dugout presented by Samsung Galaxy S3. Predict plays before they happen, score points, compete against your friends, and earn rewards. Download the app by visiting tbs.com/social dugout.
I'm hooked. I know nothing about technology, and I'm hooked.
Did you download the app? Do you have it on your iPad, your iPhone somewhere?
I'm about to.
Yeah.
But I took your phone and started fiddling with it and really had a good time.
Yeah, it's a fun game to play. If you're watching the game and you feel like it, get on there because you can get in a group, earn points during the day, predict. Is this guy going to advance? Is this guy going to homer? Is this guy going to ground out into the shift?
Matter of fact, I'm doing it right now. I'm going to start working on it right now. Sorry, Mr. Producer.
Jim Thome is out number 1 here in the second. And here's Mark Reynolds.
So, John, when you had Ertie's phone, did you switch some of the numbers inside of that? Shh, just to mess him up?
Don't tell him yet. It's always neat.
And now you got me worried because I did leave my phone here unattended for a little while, which is a little bit concerning when you know the nature of John Smoltz and Cal Ripken for that matter. Reynolds is 3 for 11 in the series. He has 1 RBI. And had a good cut there. Came up empty, a ball and a strike.
Of those 7 home runs that Reynolds has hit, 2 of them were off of Hughes right here, September 2nd.
And Reynolds went on a tear against this Yankee team. 7 of his 23 home runs coming against them. And coming in bunches. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, he certainly is a streaky hitter. And when he gets it going on, you can just jump on his back and ride that offense. He's trying to find it right now.
Count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
When Phil Hughes stays in that area and doesn't get underneath the ball, he's hard to hit. When he gets underneath the ball, it doesn't have the late life, and it gets up in the zone, and that's where hitters have taken advantage of it.
And Reynolds goes down swinging for the second out of the second.
And what happens sometimes is you see that late life right there. The hitter can't pick it up. But when you get on the side of your slider and you get underneath your pitches, the angle is not perfect for making a good pitch, and the hitter picks up the spin better and sees the ball coming out of the hand. So for Phil Hughes, he can pitch up, But when he goes downhill and stays compact, the hitter picks up the ball late.
Ryan Flaherty swinging at the first pitch, fouls it away. In the third inning last night, it was Flaherty who put one in the seats and right to get the Orioles on the board. This one's to left, and Ichiro is right there, and that is an easy 1-2-3 inning for Phil Hughes. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Alex Rodriguez leads it off in the bottom half of the second inning. He was the DH last night for the first time in his postseason career. Jeter is doing that for the first time in his tonight. A-Rod hitting .400, 8 out of 20 with 2 home runs in his career against Joe Saunders. And certainly a lot of talk about Raul Ibanez, but also a lot of talk about Alex Rodriguez because Joe Girardi pinch hit for A-Rod, which led to the Ibanez long ball.
I think it's an emotional swing at bat. What I mean by that is last night was a tough situation. Crowd responds early on, and the way A-Rod handled the situation. If he gets a hit here, I think you're going to erupt. If not, maybe it returns back to but he's been struggling, well documented, and I mentioned that's what Ibanez was able to do, is pick up his teammates and forget for a moment some of the guys that were struggling.
I think the way Alex Rodriguez reacted in a very team-oriented way, you heard some cheers from everyone. I think they respected that. They liked that. It must not be an easy thing for him to do. I know he's got a lot of pride, and I know that stings. But he set that aside, and he handled it the right way.
You've probably heard the sound bites by now about him saying, hey, 10 years ago I might have reacted a different way. As he foul tips that one, and the count's full, 3-2.
I'll tell you what, he looks a little more aggressive tonight. He's a little jumpy. He wants to prove something. That check swing on a 3-1 pitch is an indicator, and even the way he went after that breaking ball in the first pitch.
Misses with the 3-2, and Rodriguez on with a leadoff walk in the bottom of the second. So A-Rod, who's 1 out of 12 in the series with 7 strikeouts, aboard via the walk, and here is Nick Swisher. A ball and no strikes to the Yankees right fielder. Saunders, the Orioles starter, did beat the Yankees in September at Camden Yards. Pitched into the 6th. And he's pitched against the Yankees on the road just once at the old Yankee Stadium back in 2006. That ball is hit to left field, and Nate McLouth camps under it, and that's one down.
Nick Swisher took a nice swing at that, hit it just off the end of the bat. At first on the TV, I thought it had a chance to go. He must have got it just to the end.
Well, here's Russell Martin. The guy whose 9th inning home run in game 1 sparked a 5-run rally for the Yankees.
It's amazing how many things are contagious in this game. Hitting, pitching, defense. You'd think 9 guys, 9 opportunities. Collectively, you don't think you all get cold at once or everyone gets hot at once, but it's amazing how it does work over 162 games. That's why guys have the averages they do.
Again to left, but right at McLouth for the second out. Watch bonus camera angles for the division series and ALCS with postseason.tv. Get started now at MLB.com.
We made a big deal out of last night where there wasn't a lot of loud outs. It looked like there's some near misses going on right now on both sides.
Well, to your point earlier in the series, when you face pitching like these teams faced last night, everything's going to seem a little easier unless the guys that come in tonight are on top of their game. It's the different styles already have been well documented from each team. The Yankees prototypical power guy. I mean, I know CC's a power guy, but when you think about a rare back and throw some fastballs, it's going to be Hughes. And the Orioles have a mixture of uniqueness to their own starters, each having their own difference. This is obviously they're going to be their softest thrower in Saunders.
You saw that shot of CC Sabathia, knowing that he'll get the next Yankee start. Will it be game 5 of the ALDS? Will it be game 1 of the American League Championship Series? And the next few hours will tell that tale. The 0-1 to Curtis Granderson. Way out in front, 0-2. Boy, Granderson's been scuffling. 1 out of 11 in the series. No home runs, no RBIs from a guy who hit 43 long balls and knocked in 106 runs in the regular season. And he goes down swinging. Wieters throws to first to complete the strikeout. We're going to the third. Peak Performance is brought to you by Nissan, makers of the all-new Altima. Phil Hughes with those 11 wins, tied for the most at home in the major leagues. His teammate Hiroki Kuroda in there along with Jared Weaver. Overall this season he was 16-13 and worked better than 190 innings.
14 games, he got 6 runs or more run support. So I'm sure a lot of that had to happen here in this park. 10-1 in those 14 games.
Manny Machado takes, and it's 1-0.
That always helps. Get those runs, pitch a little easier. A lot less stress.
Two balls and no strikes to the 20-year-old who homered into the Oriole bullpen last night.
Seems like the early book on Manny is breaking balls.
Missed inside, 3-0, and here is the long ball from last night.
And that was a breaking ball that didn't break. First pitch hanging slider. They go a long way.
Ian Flaherty, a fellow rookie, both going deep in game 3. First time we'd ever seen that in postseason history. Rookie teammates hitting home runs in the same game. Here comes the 3-1. And a leadoff walk in the third.
Manny showed a lot of discipline right there. Ball just a little bit up on a 3-1. Taking the walk instead of going for the downs.
Second time Hughes has walked the leadoff hitter. It happened to begin the game when he walked the guy at the plate now, Nate McLouth. Orioles got runners to first and third, but did not score. See what McLouth does here with Machado at first.
McLouth 4 for 6, so you'd think he's going to be swinging the bat. He must see something pretty good out of Hughes's hand. Looked at a good changeup way and didn't budge. Maybe not a good changeup, but a changeup.
The 1-0. Lined into right field, base hit. Machado is around second. Swisher slid in right field. And McLeod slid into second. And they've got runners at second and third with nobody out.
I believe this is another changeup. Pulled into that hole. Nick makes a nice job of getting there, and then all of a sudden he realizes he might try to go to home. I first thought he was going to throw the ball to second base. Robinson Cano was lining up to second base to stop the double, but you can't let the run walk in from third. Manny was looking over his shoulder for an opportunity to keep going if the throw went to second.
So in a scoreless game, a huge opportunity here in the third for the Orioles. Here's Hardy.
Well, what sliding did right there is eliminate almost second. I don't know when I first saw it if I thought he needed to slide, but he got over there and blocked the ball and kept, to your point, the runner from third rounding and going home. And we've seen this situation now too many times for the Orioles. They must find a way to get these 2 runs in. They don't even need a hit to get these 2 runs in. They just got to make some contact to the right places.
Martin was crossed up, got a glove on that and kept it in front.
Well, as a catcher, this is kind of a nightmare when you're expecting one thing and getting the other. He just plays hockey goalie right there, just trying to do anything he can to get a glove or any body part on it, especially with a runner on third.
Didn't get their signs, their sequence of signs straightened out before they got out there, it looks like. Had a little meeting on the mound. All the infielders came in, said, okay, we're going to use this now. That one didn't work.
Runners lead from second and third. Hardy with a tapper back to the mound. They'll come to the plate, and Machado is out. McLeod moves to third. Nice play by Hughes to keep the Orioles off the board.
And when I said hit him to the right spots, there's only really one spot you can't afford to hit it to. Everybody's back, and he hit it right back to the pitcher. And of course, both runners are taken off, so you know that's a contact play.
Yeah, I don't like that. There's some points about being aggressive, but you're already up here, second and third, no outs. You can run yourself out of an inning by going home here. You don't have to run. Let him throw the ball to first base. You still got second and third with 1 out. Normally a contact play is done with 1 out, and normally a guy on third base. I understand you want to make things happen, but you could run yourself right out of this inning with a ground ball double play.
Runners at first and third with 1 out now for Chris Davis.
It's all about the read by Manny right here. He's got to read it, and you got to say, okay, can I make it or not? And if the ball's past the pitcher, then you got a chance to go. Yeah, certainly if you have a contact, but I think that's a read play, and he just misread it. I don't believe they would have put a contact play on second and third, no outs. Got to keep reminding yourself, make sure the ball's past the pitcher.
Ball and a strike. Hughes to the plate. And he's ahead of Davis, 1-2.
Not like the Orioles have not been given opportunities to score runs by that last statistic, 5 for 24. 0 two-strike RBIs this series. Yankees have 4.
Davis goes down swinging. And Hughes an out away from getting out of a jam here in the third.
This is a backup slider. For whatever reason, backup sliders don't do what they're supposed to do, and fortunately it didn't here because it went away from the left-hander instead of coming into a left-hander. And that's just getting away with a bad pitch.
Normally that results in a fly ball, sac fly at worst. very rarely a strikeout when the ball stays up there.
Here's Adam Jones towards second. Cano throws him out. The Orioles threaten again, but again do not cash in. We go to the bottom of the third.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
The Yankees dodge a third-inning bullet and come to the plate with the game still scoreless. And it'll be shortstop Jason Nix who leads it off, the number 9 hitter.
You know, that inning can be deflating to the offense, but can it be energizing to the pitcher?
Well, it depends. I mean, you know, you have to be able to blot that out, but it's not always possible.
Jason Nix, first pitch swinging, digging for second. Throw from McLeod will be late, and it's a leadoff double. Nix has good numbers against Saunders. He came in 3 for 10, all of those homers, and now another extra base hit. A double to lead off the third.
Well, it's not supposed to be deflating to the pitcher, Cal, as we look at this ball down the line, but it has that much more to do with the offense that comes up after they got out of that situation. And, you know, putting up zeros is the pitcher's job, but it can be very, very frustrating, let's use that word, when you've added in your mind the runs that were going to score and then they didn't. Every pitcher wants wiggle room. They're going to lie if they say, I mean, they want a mistake or two. They want to be able to have an ability to make a mistake.
Nix with the first Yankee hit off Joe Saunders. And here's Jeter. Bounced one wide of first his first time and was retired when Reynolds flipped to Saunders on a close play. Got him by about a half step. Again, if you're just joining us, Jeter in the DH role tonight after bruising his left foot. Fouled the ball off it last night.
The young Manny Machado over there, he has to be aware. Derek has been known to drop a bunt down here to move a runner from second to third. He can't be too far back because Derek still runs pretty well, as we saw, even with that bruise on his instep. So he's got to stay in, which opens up that hole on the left side as well.
Missed inside. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, Derek is so good at getting the ball to the right side. I would think the pitch that would be the hardest to get to the right side is a slow curveball. Now, I could be wrong, but that pitch that where you tendency is to follow it and pull it. Now, they've given him the hole between third and short, but so far he's tried to go fastball in and now fastball away. See if he tries to slow him down to get a pulled at bat.
Yeah, the danger, your logic is good, John, because the breaking ball will have the hitter out in front. But if the hitter is trying to hit the ball to right field, sometimes that's the power ball.
Gotcha.
You intend to approach it over there, and if you hang it a little bit, Derek's got a lot of power that way. I've seen him hit a lot of home runs on curveballs to left field. The inside pitch generally for Derek, he handles it and can push it out there. The outside pitch, he waits a little longer and flares it over there. But he's really good at fighting off pitches until he gets one he can handle.
The count stays 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jeter, the leader in base hits for all of baseball with 216 in the regular season, leads the Yankees with 6 hits here in the postseason. Came in hitting .462. He waits on a 2-2 from Joe Saunders. And he just did stay alive.
Right before that pitch, Jeter mumbling to himself, stay back.
He decided to hit it off Matt Wieder's foot, not his own.
We'll see how that feels. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Down the line and left, but hooking foul.
I'm not sure, John. Was that a hook?
That was a hook. Needs to be a little farther down.
That's the theory, though, because if he's set up to hit the ball the other way, especially down the right field line, taking a swing at those fastballs you see, that curveball's the right time with that bomb to left.
Jason Nix leads from second after his leadoff double. 2-2 to Jeter, reaches out, and that ball foul down the right side.
Joe's got to be careful here because, yeah, he's trying to stop him from getting the runner over, which will be a productive out, but nonetheless would be an out. If he keeps fighting here, and the inning could turn into a bigger inning, say he walks him, he could complicate things. You don't always want to take that productive out, but you want to make sure you minimize this inning.
This at bat a perfect illustration, Cal, of what you were talking about, how Jeter makes pitchers work. And Saunders will have to do it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, it's a good point. Sometimes a pitcher can focus so hard on what the hitter's trying to do and prevent the hitter from doing it that you actually end up going back into a bigger inning than just getting the productive out and pitching with a guy on third.
And Saunders will make another 2-2 pitch.
Oh, the elevated fastball has given Jeter some problems, but it's been by guys who could throw a little bit harder. We've seen everything in the general area from the knees down. Haven't seen anything bounced, and haven't seen anything up where his hands are.
I think that's where Derek's weakness is the up fastball. But you got to have, John, to your point, you got to have some cheese on that pitch to go up there. He will chase it out of the zone right down the middle high. But if you don't have enough on it, he could also end up in the right field bleachers.
Well, I wonder if that foul ball just took curveball out of play for this remainder of this at bat. But nothing down towards his foot, nothing to his back foot has been attempted.
Fouled off as he shattered his bat. And Manny Machado will retrieve it. This is quite the battle between the left-hander Saunders and the Yankee captain Derek Jeter.
Thrown basically 1/3 of his pitches tonight against Derek Jeter. I know this is a second at bat, but 15 pitches already to Derek Jeter of his 43 for the game.
And Saunders wins the battle on the 13th pitch of that at bat.
Well, that was a much better curveball that actually had movement back in towards his back leg. You see where he sets up and see where that pitch ends up. So that foul ball didn't take enough of saying, okay, we're not going to throw a curveball anymore. He just made a better curveball pitch. And after all the effort that Jeter had to stay back and foul off pitchers' pitches, Joe Saunders gets him on his pitch.
So 1 down here in the bottom half of the 3rd. Jason Nix, who doubled, out there at second with 1 down, and here's Ichiro. Grounded to third his first time, and he takes outside.
All those fastballs to Derek, you know, made him more susceptible finally. Once you pound him, once you pound him, once you pound him, you broke his bat. Then all of a sudden that breaking ball surprised him.
That's over and the count even. And a ball and a strike. Saunders jumps ahead 1-2.
Well, you got the bottom of the strike zone on one and the top of the strike zone on the other.
Ichiro hit .322 in 67 games with the Yankees after coming over in the trade with Seattle. But he goes down swinging here in the third and is now 3 for 17 in the series.
Saved 2 of his better breaking balls for strikeout pitches.
He has a real good angle with the way that he delivers to a left-hander that makes that curveball look even bigger to a left-hander. The right-hander, it's more of a tighter type, throw it in the back foot curveball. I don't think he'd dare to try to backdoor that curveball to a right-hander. A lot of change-ups and those fastballs to right-handers.
Mark Teixeira walked his first time, takes a strike.
Well, the radar gun's back up to 91 now. When he needed his fastball with a guy in scoring position, he called on it.
He's just pulling a little Verlander. He's switching gears. Just doesn't have the Verlander 10th gear where it's 100 miles an hour.
Verlander and the Tigers later tonight. TNT taking on the Oakland A's. What a series that has been. Going the full 5. Teixeira takes a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This first round has been something to see with game 5s everywhere you look.
Yeah, we're the last series that could determine if all of them go to game 5. And certainly for the Yankees, they have a great chance and an opportunity. That's what Phil Hughes knows. Have a great chance to turn our rotation back to the top and start the next series with CC and Pettit and Kuroda. And I think that's what the ideal situation. Everybody else is going to have to get there how they get there. And of course, Verlander pitching game 5 tonight for Detroit.
Tied him up inside, and after a leadoff double, Jeter, Ichiro, and Teixeira go down swinging. Stay one step ahead. Get alerts whenever something big happens with your teams. Check out the Team Stream app from Bleacher Report on the App Store or Google Play. Top half of the 4th inning. There have been chances for both sides, but we're scoreless as Matt Wieters leads it off for the Orioles. Good look at Joe Saunders, who surrendered that leadoff double in the 3rd, but then recorded 3 straight strikeouts to get out of it.
I think he'd look a little happier than that. He just punched out the side.
Yeah, it still ain't fun. it's fun when it's 6-0. 0-0, you know your room for errors are limited, and of course when you're on an elimination game. I think the mindset of an elimination game pitcher is you've got to do everything you can to not be the guy. Pass it on to the next guy, and that actually is being a pretty good teammate and knowing that your next guy will take care of business.
And that's exactly what he did in that Texas game, John, winning over the Rangers on the road in the wild card game. And for the 3rd time in 4 innings, Hughes issues a leadoff walk. John, you can't go to that well too often, can you?
No, certainly testing the what is it, Peter Palmer, or what? Who's got the theories? The percentage of walks, leadoff walks that score. He's testing it right now.
I don't know what principle you're talking about.
There's somebody out there that got that document.
I'm sure there is. Jim Thome takes 1-0.
I will agree with you. There is a principle.
All I know is that when I get a blank stare from our statistician Hal Galima on one of your references, I know that I may not be the only one in the room who doesn't know exactly where you're going.
Oh, it's there, I'm telling you.
What is that thing? 2 miles high. Robbie Cano makes the play, 1 down. there in the fourth.
Would have got to get a clock on that one. That was a lot of hang time.
Now here's Mark Reynolds. Strikeout victim his first time.
The Orioles offense are doing their thing. It looks good. It's got power, it's got numbers, but it can be very frustrating when you don't hit many home runs in a postseason series and you don't cash in on opportunities. You do have to tip your cap to the pitcher every once in a while, but there are opportunities that exist, and they may be small in nature. You've got to make them count.
You see that number, 214 home runs, second to the Yankees, who set a franchise record, but only 2 home runs in this series for Baltimore. That ball is yanked foul.
It doesn't matter how you score your runs, if you hit home runs or you score them manufacturing, but if you have it one way you're doing it and you're dependent upon that, you can be pitched to a little bit more. Certainly the Yankees had that similar situation, but when they got Ichiro, you know, it started to become a little bit more of a diverse offense, and they could do a little bit more on the bases.
Reynolds fouls that back, and it's a ball and 2 strikes.
McLeod certainly brought that to the Orioles as well, but that's a limited side. They don't steal bases very much. They put on a few hit and runs, but again, both teams rely on their power.
And the Yankees won their game on the same way that normally do. They hit 2 home runs, although be it by a guy that came off the bench, but those 2 home runs ended up winning the game.
Another pop-up on the infield. Mark Teixeira takes charge right away and makes the play on the pitcher's mound. Last night they had some trouble when David Robertson was on the mound, and a pop-up fell. But right off the bat, Teixeira took charge for the second out.
Well, Phil Hughes got out of the way, but he's still got to play traffic cop. You can't go run over to third base. He's got to make sure that the other infielders are going to come in sometimes and try to catch the ball. So make sure your voice is the most important thing, and yell who you think will catch it.
Here's Ryan Flaherty.
I'm reminded, my chuckle was a young Chipper Jones, first year, Greg Maddux, pop up in between the catcher and first baseman. He's kind of guarding the area. He's making sure he knows who between the first and catcher catches it, and all of a sudden here comes Chipper, ran Maddux right over, ran him right over, trying to catch the pop-up. It was the last time that the rookie Chipper ever came that far over. Greg let him know.
I'm sure he did. Next pitch to Flaherty is outside. 2 balls and no strikes.
So you're going back to when Chipper was a rookie right now.
Yeah.
He just had a long career, and he's calling it a career, and he's retiring.
Full circle.
That's a long time ago.
When you run over a Cy Young guy and hit him in his calf,
and you're a rook,
and you're a rookie.
That ball is pulled down the line in right. That's a fair ball. One hopping the wall. Swisher hustles it into second. Runners are at first and third. And another opportunity for the Orioles.
Ryan takes this ball, line drive, bullet to right field, and in this place, it's short down there. And Swisher knows how to play it, plays that one hop coming off the wall. Ryan does not try to go to second base. A smart move. Give him a chance to score a run. This was a bullet down in that corner. Nick's got a strong and accurate arm, too. No need to take that risk right now.
It's the 3rd inning that the Orioles have had runners at first and third.
See, that's a good example right there of why right-handers may be having a high advantage. He's trying to go high average. He's trying to go away. He gets underneath, and the ball ends up inside. Well, imagine if he's trying to go away and that ball ends up over the middle of the plate. That's where right-handers, which shouldn't have the advantage against him as a right-hander, have taken advantage of hitting 22 home runs here at home.
Ball and a strike to the rookie third baseman. on the 60th pitch by Phil Hughes.
The Orioles are already 0-6 with runners in scoring position tonight. Not that you want to think about that if you're Manny Machado.
Hughes nibbled at the corner, didn't get the call. 2-1.
That's a much better pitch. He's pitching from the third base side of the rubber, creating the angle. Maybe just a tad off. The pitch track has it about a centimeter off the corner. But that area right there is going to get a lot of outs.
That ball is hit hard, but it too is pulled foul.
And if we see that ball came back over the middle of the plate. Lucky that ball went foul and not over the 318 sign in left field.
Well, Phil is very good when he gets 2 strikes. Sometimes it's trouble getting to 2 strikes. But he knows how to put hitters away when he gets 2 strikes on him.
Phil Hughes wiggles off the hook again. Scoreless going to the bottom of the 4th. Weeknights on TBS. There's nothing more American than baseball and 6'4" redheaded comedians. Don't miss Conan weeknights after MLB postseason only on TBS. Very funny. Bottom half of the 4th inning at the Bronx, and got Robbie Cano stepping in. Been a strange game so far. Lots of scoring opportunities for the Orioles. Nothing to show for it. Joe Saunders allowed a leadoff double in the 3rd, and then struck out Jeter, Ichiro, and Teixeira to get out of it. Here's Cano, the cleanup hitter.
Joe Saunders had to really wait to see how many innings yesterday night's game went. He was available to pitch. Had they gone much past whatever that number is that exhausts their bullpen. So after the game, he obviously knew he was pitching this game and get his mindset ready for the start of the game.
The Yankees winning in 12 in game 3 to take the 2-1 lead in this series. And J.J. Hardy settles under that pop-up by Cano for the first out. Moments ago, we spoke with Orioles manager Buck Showalter. Are you encouraged because you've had opportunities, but discouraged because you haven't cashed in yet?
Yes, Ernie, thanks for answering that. No, but same way over there. You're kind of sparring around a little bit. It happens. You got pitchers, on the top of their game, and it happens sometimes. We can't just dial everything up like it, should be on paper. But guys are kind of sparring around, and so far so good. I know it could have been better, but same way for them.
Yeah, Buck, you got to be happy. Saunders has a very sharp curveball tonight.
So far so good. Yeah, Joe's a guy that's not going to get move away from the competition. He'll grind it, and he'll give you a chance to win more times than not. Got to catch a baseball and score a few runs, but I like where he is. He's a guy that's easy to have confidence in. He's been in the fight before.
Thanks to Buck Showalter. And Saunders has allowed only 1 hit, has walked a couple, and has struck out 4 as he works here in the 4th with 1 down.
Pretty good changeup, I believe, right here. See the depth. No, fastball. Sorry. Good depth on that sinker. Catches the bottom of the zone. A-Rod thought it was down.
Did a lot of movement, but the speed told you it wasn't a changeup. Good sinker, though.
He's ahead of Rodriguez 0-2. Nick Swisher on deck. And that ball hit on a line to left. Rodriguez with his 2nd hit of this series.
They expanded the zone away and then tried to come in. Not a terrible pitch, but because of the velocity, and his ability to actually get his hands in there and get a big hit, as we talked about his first at bat being a swing at bat. A lot of people very happy that he got a hit right there, and I'm sure he is.
Without question, he had walked his first time. Came into this game 1 for 12 for the series. He's at first with 1 out for Nick Swisher.
Much what I was talking about early in the open and not being able to expand enough about what Raul Ibanez did. Look, there's guys struggling on both teams. The Yankees have history. The career numbers of Granderson and Swisher and A-Rod have not been the way they would want them to be in postseason. They've had a ton of opportunities.
Liner foul by Swisher.
For the Orioles, this is their first time, and they're going to have to deal with it and learn from it and get better from it. Know what your body feels like. Know the mistakes that you made, and then have enough time to correct them. Well, in a short series, sometimes you don't have that time. Same thing with a pitcher. The closer comes in. He feels a little bit different. He gives up uncustomary home runs. You learn from it. Yankees been there, done that.
Count even at a ball and a strike. And Saunders ahead 1 and 2.
You know, the realization he had when he saw that little number on the board when Derek was up, 156 playoff games.
Yeah,
that's a full season you're adding on in playoff games. So he's experienced everything from the highs to the lows, and that's how they react. And that's the experience, that's the advantage that you have when you do go to the playoffs so many times. You know how to play these games.
We're due a 1-2 pitch to Swisher. To third, Machado. To second for 1, to first. Did Reynolds hold the bag? Yes, he did. Mike Everett made the call over there as the Orioles turn 2. Reynolds with the stretch, and they got the call right.
The League Division Series on TBS is brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S3. The next big thing is already here. And when you want to transform average into amazing, just add avocados from Mexico.
We move to the top half of the 5th at Yankee Stadium, scoreless in Game 4 of this ALDS best of 5 between the Yankees and the Orioles. Yankees win, they move to the American League Championship Series and end the dream of the Baltimore Orioles. Baltimore trying to force that Game 5 tomorrow afternoon. McLeod has walked and doubled. And he takes down low.
I'm a pitcher. I'm checking that. Screaming check. You never know if you don't ask. My philosophy.
The 1-2 from Hughes. And McLeod launches it to right, and that ball is gone. Nate McLeod with a leadoff homer in the 5th has given the Orioles a 1-0 lead.
He tried to sneak the fastball up in the strike zone, made a mistake down, and that's a tough pitch to drive out of there. 1-2 fastball for a strike anyway, but he's been seeing the ball really well off of Hughes, and he shows how much power he has for a little leadoff hitter.
We talked about the fact that he led this team with RBIs in this series, and that was his 5th.
Well, this pitch, like you said, down right into that stroke. Doesn't take much to hit it out of right field, but line drive, their first 2-strike RBI of the series.
And so Baltimore, after threatening in the first 4, Gets on the board with one swing from McLeod.
All the more reason I would have checked. The swing. I would have checked before.
Excellent point.
Well, one of the rare hits he'll give up with 2 strikes, and the fact that he has put guys away. Cal, you mentioned about his ability to strike guys out. Got to 0-2 quickly, check swing, and then the home run.
You know, I've looked at a lot of stats, more stats than I care to share. But certainly the one thing that jumped out about Phil Hughes is when he does get 2 strikes, he knows what to do then. A rare mistake.
There is a punch out of J.J. Hardy. Field and Culbreth making the call behind the plate. 1 down.
Well, we've talked about it. He stays on that part of the plate and the ball doesn't drift back. It's outstanding. I wish I knew if some of these were 4-seamers or all 4-seamers or some 2-seamers that he's trying to accomplish speed. But when he stays down, the rotation of the ball stays on plane. It's just hard for the hitter to pull the trigger.
There's a bullet into the camera well down there to the right of the Yankee dugout. 0-1. Davis 0 for 2 with a flyout and a strikeout. And he's behind 0-2.
Chris has been swinging the bat pretty well. I'm sure he'd want that strikeout back the first time up. But he is one of the few guys on the Orioles team with McLeod that has been swinging the bat pretty well.
And he goes down swinging for the 2nd time tonight. We talked about the home runs surrendered by Phil Hughes this year. 35 in the regular season. Only Irvin Santana of the Angels gave up more with 39. And Hughes gives one up here in the 5th to McLeod to break a scoreless tie. And if you're just tuning into this series for the first time, this is the way these games have gone. Tough and tight from start to finish. 2-2 going to the 9th in game 1. In both games 2 and 3, a 1-run game going to the 9th. Here it's 1-0 in game 4, a game the Orioles have to win to stay alive.
Phil Hughes' overall postseason maybe not as good as you'd like. 2-3, 5.4 ERA, but the division series has been pretty lights out. Coming into this game 2-0 with a 1.59 ERA.
Adam Jones now 2 for 15 in this series and 2 for 18 in the postseason. A guy with 32 home runs in the regular season. Took a little off and got him. Hughes allows the leadoff homer, then strikes out Hardy, Davis, and Jones. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Heading to the bottom half of the 5th inning, and a short time ago, John Smoltz had a chance to talk to Joe Girardi.
Joe, the Yankees are known for their history and historic moments. I would argue you use more players to accomplish this feat than ever before. A lot of guys have contributed to your success.
Yeah, we've had contributions all over the place. You look at what Nixie has done for us. You look at Raul, Andrew Jones, Chavi. We've had a lot of injuries, and the pitching staff has also had to step up with the injuries to, Pineda in spring training, and then we had CC and Pettit go down, and then, of course, Mariano going down, and Soriano's had a great year for us.
Russell Martin leading it off in the bottom half of the 5th. Waiting on a 1-0 from Joe Saunders. And if you have not heard, as Craig Sager reported as we came on the air tonight, that
Joe Girardi lost his dad, Jerry, over the weekend. So Joe continuing to manage with the theme of finishing the job, which is something that his dad always taught him. Saunders missed there. It's 3-1.
Hey, John, two of those pitches, 85, 86 miles an hour, they look like just a BP fastball. You ever throw a BP fastball?
Yeah. Not good results. I never could get myself to throw it without changing my delivery. I must admit, I tried to pitch like Tom Glavine one day, and it didn't work.
It's an interesting concept. Just take a little off, make the ball move a little bit. It's a change of speed, but not a full changeup.
Saunders missed with the 3-2, and there's a leadoff walk to Martin here in the 5th.
The thing you got to have trust it's going to move just enough to get out of that sweet zone, because certainly a pitch that doesn't have enough finish on it can go a long way. But I know with CC Sabathia, when he developed that kind of dead fish fastball that he calls a changeup, it got hitters off his fastball really quickly.
Here's Curtis Granderson as Saunders throws over.
Curtis has been struggling, but I think he aspires to the belief that when you're struggling, you should be more aggressive at the plate.
Granderson tries to bunt, fouls it off. Curtis struck out in the second, now 1 out of 12 in the series.
He's got one sacrifice bunt on the year. Probably average for a guy that hits over 30 home runs. Not going to bunt too many times, but when you're struggling, you do whatever it takes, and he's struggling to get the bat in the right position to get the ball in fair territory.
And now Granderson hearing it from the Yankee faithful here in the Bronx. There's Rob Thompson going through his signs in the third base coaching box.
And then John Russell relaying them to the catcher, who relays them to the proper people on the field.
A ball and 2 strikes to Granderson.
You heard that?
Yeah, our mics are close to the audience.
Let it hit you.
Easy for you to say. Or as guys will say in the dugout, we got ice.
The natural reaction is to get out of the way. I've always marveled at guys that can stay in there and intentionally get hit. Your natural reaction is to get out of the way.
Granderson fooled again, and a strikeout victim for the second time tonight. Great night to fly, and our aerial coverage is brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. We had rain delays in the first 2 games of this series in Baltimore, but had cool, beautiful fall evenings in New York for games 3 and 4.
This game can be pretty cruel at the wrong time. A guy hits 43 home runs with over 100 RBIs. Having a hard time in this series making contact.
Here's the shortstop, Jason Nix, who lined a double to left his first time. Talked about his numbers off of Joe Saunders. He had 3 hits coming in, all home runs, and he doubled his first time tonight. And that ball is hit pretty well to left. McLeod back to the wall, and he made the catch. Russell Martin trying to retreat to first, and they will double him up. What a play by McLeod to end the Yankee 5th. It's still 1-0 Baltimore. Well, Nate McLouth is responsible for the lone run in this game with a solo home run, and he helped keep the Yankees off the board with this play in the bottom half of the fifth.
Well, it was a great play running there. Russell just didn't read this right. I'm all for going as far as you can, but stop and make sure that you're maybe 1 foot's right there. You can't get doubled off on that. If it hits the wall, you still got a good chance to score. Great play on Nate's end, and J.J. Hardy made a nice relay through from left center field in the air to record that second out, or that last out.
A high pop by Matt Waiters. And shortstop Jason Nix will call and puts it away for the first out. Again, the catch by McLouth. And then they're able to double up Russell Martin. And Joe Saunders loving every second of that. Here's Jim Thome, who takes a strike. And we had talked earlier, John, about the fact that Saunders had gotten 3 big double plays in that Texas game in the wild card, and he's gotten a couple tonight. That one more unconventional on the catch by McLouth.
Yeah, when it leaves the bat, you're like, oh no, please stay in the yard. And then it stays in the yard, and you see what's developing. You're just hoping that that relay throw gets in the air, and it did.
It looked by the replay that Nate wasn't so sure he had that one. Going up next to the fence. Makes the catch.
Curveball so far for Thome. First one you could see way outside the strike zone. Second one, third one was the one that was closer.
Thome looking for his first hit of this series. He's 0 for 10. I guess that missed.
They're even now. He gave him the first one. Maybe he missed this one. All right, so it's all even. The count's all even now. Whoever makes the best pitch.
Two to Thome. 2 down here in the 6th. Let's go to Atlanta. Check in with Matt Weiner. Matt.
Thank you, EJ. Time for a Bank of America game break, and the Yankees had just one of the walk-offs last night. The A's had the other, setting up tonight's winner-take-all Game 5 with the Tigers. You'll see it on TNT at the bottom of the hour. A's fans, including Dennis Eckersley's doppelganger, into their seats early on for that one. Although, come to think of it, EJ, I haven't seen Echo in a little while.
You never know where he's going to pop up. Here's Mark Reynolds. Fly ball, right center field. Granderson ranges over and makes the play for the third out. 3 up and 3 down in the Baltimore 6th.
The TBS Social Dugout app, presented by the Samsung Galaxy S3. Download the app now and predict the answer to this half-innings new question. Will there be a pitching change? The TBS Social Dugout app. Join in and play along.
We are zipping right along in New York. Game 4 of this American League Division Series between the Orioles and the Yankees. New York managing only 2 hits so far off Joe Saunders. Haven't had a runner past second. And Derek Jeter leads it off in the 6th.
This certainly is a big inning for Joe Saunders. 6th inning, top of the order. Put yourself and your team in a great position. 1-0. Not many mistakes are out there for you. And he's pitched magically, as really all the Orioles have in this postseason. Their ERA for starters, 1.52. And they're behind 2 games to 1. Doesn't seem like those numbers fit that scenario.
We've seen Saunders now in this postseason for the 2nd time, and I don't think the expression on his face has changed. As Jeter lines one into the corner and right. He's got that bad wheel, but you'd never know it.
Leadoff double in the 6th.
When you need a hit, Derek is going to give it to you in the postseason. He needs to get things started. Fastball away, does what he's done about 3,000 times. And he grimaces a little bit, but he's running really well. He must have really good healing powers. Leadoff double.
Now here's Ichiro. Bunting right back to the mound. Saunders throws him out. Jeter, the potential tying run, is at third.
That really is good patience by Saunders. You know, in most scenarios, this is back to him. You could take a shot at third, but you cannot take much time with Ichiro. You got to get the out. Jeter gets a great jump.
Yeah, the bunt wasn't that great, and you would think that you might have a shot over there, but take the shore out. Again, minimize the inning.
That and Machado had to play in because of the speed on Ichiro, which allows him to not read it perfectly and get back. That's the big thing, getting back.
No balls and 2 strikes. That Oriole infield in. Jeter at third, representing the tying run.
Well, Tex has been on the bad end of a couple pitches here in this at bat. Crucial pitches, 0-2. We'll see what they try to expand the zone and get a little extra more.
That's a huge play by Wieters to block that one and keep Jeter at third.
That's a tough one to block too. You see the spin of the breaking ball, and it hits the dirt, and it's going to kick a little further away from Wieters. Wieters does a nice job of getting around the outside of that.
Yeah, it tried to sneak in between his arm and his side, but he blocked it. Now it's 2-2.
Now I know with the infield in, typically you want your pitcher to be out of the stretch because you'll shorten the lead a little bit. You won't get that running, but he's out of the windup. So he's saying I can make better pitches out of the windup necessarily than out of the stretch.
Three balls and 2 strikes.
Again, another situation here that you spoke of before. If you give up the run, get the out. Don't create that big inning with Cano on deck.
The 3-2. High and away. They're at the corners.
Well, you see early on, he gets a couple calls off the plate. He goes in, gets the call, goes in again, gets the call again, and then can't make the put-away pitch. Nothing close enough to put pressure on Tex or the umpire for that matter. And Tex had great discipline on that curveball. Fouled off the best pitch after 0-2, and then of course wasn't close on ball 4.
4th walk of the night for Joe Saunders. The first 3 haven't hurt it. But here in the 6th, you have runners at first and third, 1 out, and the dangerous Robinson Cano stepping in.
Well, I think part of this meeting out here is to establish a little strategy, but also give a little bit of a time to the bullpen in case Buck needs a matchup that he would like. They're going to play the infield back. Go for the double play here. Again, try to minimize this inning.
Robinson Cano is so good in these situations for whatever reason, from keeping the ball off the ground. His ability to shoot the gaps is really good and hit the fly ball. So if you're Saunders, you've got to remind yourself. I know every pitcher thinks, okay, I'm a double play away from getting out of this. But get some outs. You'll trade a run for an out. Perfect scenario, double play, and you don't have to worry about it.
Cano takes 1-0.
I don't know if you saw it, but Derek and Robinson made eye contact. And Derek gave him the little, hey, easy, easy.
For as impressive as his offensive numbers are, Robinson Cano has hit into a lot of double plays. And this is to second. They will not get a DP out of this one. The game is tied. As Teixeira moves to second and Jeter scores the first Yankee run.
It's an interesting decision by Ryan here. It might not have been a double play ball, but you might be able to force the runner at second base and keep him out of scoring position.
Well, Tex had such a huge lead because they weren't holding him on that when he hits it, he's already halfway. That's a big lead, and this is a risky play. I see what you're saying, being able to turn, but in this scenario, trade the out. Cano runs pretty good. If he gets it clean, I think he already made up his mind right there, but Tex got such a big lead, it might have influenced whether it was worth to make that turnaround throw and possibly hit him in the back or throw it away, and now you've got a bigger inning.
Yeah, certainly you're managing your risk right there. He might have deemed it much harder to make that throw to second base, and if you don't make that out, then this inning could be blown wide open. Now, you still can make a pitch to get out of this.
And that will be all for Joe Saunders. Pitching in an elimination game for the Baltimore Orioles again tonight. And he leaves in a tie game in the 6th.
Matt Weiner in Atlanta with his Bank of America game break in just a couple minutes time. First pitch of Game 5, the ultimate Game 5 between the Tigers and the A's with a trip to the ALCS on the line. A rematch of the Game 1 pitching matchup won by that guy, the dominant Justin Verlander. Again, it begins in just a couple of minutes on TNT.
All right, thank you, Matt. Just like the AL wildcard game, Joe Saunders goes 5 2/3. He won that game against the Rangers. Here he leaves in a tie game. The runner at second, Mark Teixeira, belongs to him, and Tommy Hunter on in relief.
Yeah, Tommy Hunter, since going to the bullpen's a different pitcher. He possesses 98. But when he was starting, he didn't rush it up there. More of a sinker ball or slider. But he'll rush it up there now that he's out of the pen.
He faces A-Rod, who waves at the first one, 0-1. Rodriguez has walked and then singled in the 4th. Was erased in a double play.
Well, A-Rod's come out to hit today. He is ready on the first pitch. Waved at that one, but at least he's not in between. He was looking for a fastball.
Hunter quickly jumps ahead, 0-2.
But not that time.
A 14-mile-an-hour difference between the two pitches.
Rushed it up there at 98, did Hunter.
I saw a couple flames on that one, Ernie. 98.
I know that gets you going, Iron Man. Ball and 2 strikes. Big spot, bottom of the 6th, 1-1 game. Buck Showalter talk about what a battler that guy is, Joe Saunders. He certainly was again tonight in a game the Orioles have to have. Alex Rodriguez has a chance to give the Yankees the lead here in the 6th. And Hunter blew him away for the 3rd out. Derek Jeter got it started with a double. Ichiro laid one down. And Robinson Cano's grounder tied the game. Who will become a legend this October?
Cast your postseason vote at MLBFanCave.com. Man, what a series this has been. We're moving to the 7th inning. Tie game, 1 apiece. Phil Hughes facing Ryan Flaherty to lead off the 7th. Swinging at the first pitch. Jason Nix settles under it. 1 down. Flaherty likes that first pitch. So he went deep on last night. Not bashful about taking a hack. And here's Manny Machado.
Now you see the bullpen getting ready. Phil Hughes at 90 pitches probably will not be given the opportunity that the other starting pitchers were given, and that's pitching well into the past the 8th inning for for the 3 of them.
Machado takes a strike, 0-1. Hughes out in front. No balls and 2 strikes. See Nate McLouth on deck. He is accounted for the only Baltimore run with a solo homer in the 5th. Hughes strikes out Machado. 2 up and 2 down here in the 7th. The night for Nate McLouth. A bullet into the seats and right. So he got the Orioles on the board, and then he helped keep the Yankees off the board with this catch. As the Orioles doubled up, Russell Martin at first. You hear the chants of Hughes here at Yankee Stadium. Good work by Phil Hughes in Game 4. This January on TBS, brand new episodes of Cougar Town are coming. You heard it right. Brand new episodes on a brand new network. Cougar Town is moved to TBS. The new season begins this January only on TBS.
Hey, is that show coming from the Animal Planet, Ernie? It moved, right?
Not exactly.
Oh, all right. Well,
kind of
thanks
Cougar.
for clearing that up.
Here's Boone Logan on to pitch for the Yankees in relief of Phil Hughes. And Logan in this lefty-lefty matchup going up against Nate McLouth, who, as we showed you, as the Yankees made that pitching change, has homered in this game in the 5th for the only Baltimore run.
Boone Logan doesn't just get left-handers out. He's got an even split between lefties and righties just about, but he is coming in to take care of the Orioles' hottest hitter and the Orioles' Mr. Do-Everything guy so far. He's driven in runs. He's made big plays. And yes, he's the leadoff batter.
Yeah, he's doubled and homered tonight. Walked in the 1st. The 0-1 from Logan. Phil Hughes working into the 7th. A solid 6 2/3. Had some problems. Walks got him in trouble, but he worked out of it. Grounded foul by McLouth.
Well, he did what, John, you said he needed to do. Hand the ball off.
Yeah, only one long ball. I mean, that's normally going to win you a lot of baseball games when you leave with 6 2/3, 1 run. He can't get the win, but he's given his team a chance to win, and that's what we talked about in the open. Let the other stars contribute, do your part, pass on the baton.
1 ball, 2 strikes to the Orioles leadoff hitter. And the count even 2-2. McLaughlin All-Star in 2008 with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Fell on hard times in Atlanta, went back to Pittsburgh, still couldn't shake it. But what a discovery he has been with this Baltimore Oriole team. Spark plug at the top of the order.
He's played like an all-star in this series for sure. Left field and at the plate.
And he works a full count from Boone Logan.
Interesting choice for Boone here. 3-2. Sometimes he ducks that front shoulder and gets around the ball. But if he throws anything closer to the plate with his slider or breaking ball, it would be awfully hard for Nate to stay off of it. And a neutral count of 3-2.
You got to believe he's getting a breaking ball.
Lined right at Robbie Cano. And that'll do it for the Orioles in the top half of the 7th. Time to stretch at Yankee Stadium. Bottom half of the 7th inning, and what do you know? Another close game in this series between the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Yankees. It has been so tough and tight from the start of this series, Cal.
It's amazing. I mean, you guys get to do this all the time, have this much fun in these close games. You're on the edge of your seat. You don't know what's going to happen. It's down to the managers matching up with the bullpen again.
And the starters tonight, John, I mean, Joe Saunders gave Buck Showalter all he could ask for, and Phil Hughes in a little bit of trouble, but only allows 1 run.
Yeah, I know it's frustrating to have the short rope, and meaning not get it in out of trouble yourself and not put it on somebody else, but both have did a great job giving their teams a chance to win, and really with some moments where the other team could score, the pitchers just made better pitches and executed and kept it to this 1-run game.
Took us 12 innings last night in Game 3 before the Yankees prevailed to take the 2-1 series lead on the heroics of Raul Ibanez. And here we go, bottom half of the 7th inning in a 1-1 game. Yankees trying to move on to the American League Championship Series, and the Baltimore Orioles, who have had a magical campaign trying to keep it going here in New York.
Well, the crowd today has been a little more into it, so to speak, than they were yesterday. I mean, that 9th inning put them in a roar, and 12th inning, of course, put them in a fantastic mood.
Yeah, I was going to say it was very loud there right at the end of the game, but I would agree with you, a little bit lower key than I'm used to remembering a Yankee Stadium environment.
Well, the story of this series could be as simple as the 7th inning on. 7th inning on, Baltimore has scored 0 runs, and the Yankees have scored 8. 7 of those in the 9th inning or later.
Nick Swisher will lead it off against Tommy Hunter. He'll turn around and hit left-handed against the big right-hander who came on in the 6th and struck out Alex Rodriguez with the go-ahead run at second. Swisher's 0 for 2. Fly ball, right field, fairly deep. Chris Davis, short of the track, makes the play.
Just missed that. He was looking for that fastball to, as Buck Showalter would say, ambush it on the first pitch. Here it is, up in the strike zone. I tell you what, we don't have the wind like we had last night. That jet stream out to right field, a lot of fly balls, really high fly balls hit today. Haven't carried out there in that part of the ballpark like we saw last night.
If you could will a ball over the wall and right, they were trying to do that here at Yankee Stadium. The roar went up. There's a broken bat. Shallow center. Flaherty cannot make the play. He dropped it. And Russell Martin is on.
Well, that last look back right there, Cal, might have cost him the opportunity to catch this. I thought it was his the whole way, and then, of course, center fielder calls you out.
Yeah, absolutely. You look back. Normally in the fly ball priority, the infielder goes back without saying a word and goes to catch it until he hears the outfielder call him off. Could be a very noisy environment, but he did take a peek just to see if he was there. And that little peek might have cost him.
And we'll see if it costs the Orioles here in the 7th.
That's the peak I don't understand. I think he's looking for contact as he's trying to catch, because the ball's in his glove and then he looks away. Certainly a big mistake by the Orioles second baseman.
It puts Martin on first, and a pitching change for the Orioles. We'll be back after this.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Matt Weiner with this Bank of America game break. A reminder, the A's and Detroit Tigers are playing Game 5 of their ALDS right now on TNT. Jared Parker, the A's rookie, got through a scoreless first, and now it's Justin Verlander's turn. The Tiger ace on the mound with the game and a trip to the ALCS on the line, live right now on TNT. Back to the Bronx.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. Cal, it wasn't like Adam Jones was running up his back on Flaherty right here. What happened?
Well, he was going out. He wanted to take a quick peek to see where Adam was. And I think he felt him a little bit, because you see his head look down a little bit after he thought he had the ball in his glove. Sometimes your head can bounce. Sometimes the glove can block your vision right there at the last few feet. That could have happened, but I think they didn't have their communication right. That was the big thing. And maybe that's what's solved during the course of a season. 162. They haven't had a lot of reps. Ryan and Adam out there.
End result, Russell Martin at first with one out. Granderson in the air, shallow left. McLouth on the run makes the play for the second out. Troy Patton retires Curtis Granderson, and now will face Jason Nix. And Nix has hit the ball on the button twice, a double in the third, and he hit a shot to the wall in the 5th that McLouth tracked down and turned into a double play as they doubled up Russell Martin.
You can certainly see why he would be tough on left-handers. He kind of drops down a little bit and throws across his body, whereas the right-hander is going to see the ball a little longer than the left-hander will.
Jason Nix certainly benefits from the lefty facing the lefty because of the error to Ryan and the pitching change. He was all over Saunders coming in, similar type.
Patton worked a third of an inning in Game 1. Pitching in a big spot here in Game 4. Go-ahead run at first. Fooled Nix, and it's 1-2. Buck working the seeds. Troy Patton working on Jason Nix with 2 down here in the 7th. And that ball is lined to left. McLouth will play it on a hop there at first and second with 2 down. Nix is 2 out of 3.
Three really good at bats.
Troy Patton, his work is through. Derek Jeter is coming to the plate for the Yankees as Buck Showalter goes back to the pen in the Bronx.
in the bottom half of the 7th inning here at Yankee Stadium. Team Stream, it's the way baseball fans stay in the now. Head over to the App Store or Google Play and download Team Stream now. Luis Ayala enters the fray here in the 7th. His first appearance in the series. And he will face Derek Jeter with 2 Yankees on in a tie game. Jeter doubled his last time and has scored the only New York run. He scored on a Robinson Cano groundout. Go-ahead run at second in the person of Russell Martin. Jason Nix is at first.
Sinkers and sliders. A little 3/4 low arm angle that delivery.
Almost nipped him. 1-0.
He'll run the ball, as you saw, into a right-hander. For the Yankees, their 2 out runners in scoring position stats are as follows: 1 for 11, and the guy at the plate is responsible for the 1 hit.
You saw Martin and Nix, your runners. Jeter waiting on a 1-0. Over for a strike count even.
There's a lot of RBIs in that Yankee lineup. This is the one that used to make me cringe, having Derek at bat in this situation. He is so calm. He is in so control. He's not worried one bit. That worries me.
You saw him put a 13-pitch at bat together against Joe Saunders earlier. He didn't think much of that call by Field and Culbreth, but it's 1-2.
Fielding has not missed a down pitch as much as he's missed the pitch in, so that's on the bottom tier of the zone. And certainly as a pitcher, you get that pitch, it's going to be hard to hit.
Especially for Ayala. He's got good action down there. And as a hitter, you don't want to swing at that pitch. You want to make him bring the ball up so it straightens out a little bit.
Luis Ayala, the 4th Oriole pitcher. Here comes the 1-2. And Jeter grounds it foul up toward third.
I think that was off his foot. You get a chance to see this. I think he fouls this ball pretty close to right off that pad.
Right off the shin guard, yes.
Good eye, John. When it happened last night, it made him hop in the 1st inning. Had to come out of the game after his at-bat in the 8th. He digs in here again. Behind in the count, 1-2. With 2 on and 2 out in a tie game. Two balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Buck's thinking, one time, Derek, swing at a bad pitch, will you? It's not going to happen.
Ichiro awaiting his turn. But Jeter will have to reach. 2 down here in the 7th. Stayed alive.
Did it again. Fouled it off that foot. That's what sinkers in will do.
Taking a beating.
This was on the back heel. And you're so right, John. The ball running in there. Can't determine whether it's just on the plate or just off the plate. When you go to swing at it, the only place you can hit it is down on your foot.
Here comes the 2-2.
Derek Jeter's 4th at bat and 26th pitch tonight.
Drives you crazy, doesn't it, John?
It really does. It's a frustrating thing. That's why he's so good. I mean, he just, you know, Tony Gwynn from the left-hand side used to do that. Just foul pitches off till he get the one that he wants. And Derek's a lot like that in the fact that he shortens up. He doesn't have the same swing all the time. He's good at guessing and really good at being clutch and in the right spot at the right time.
And Ayala gets Jeter looking to end the 7th. The Baltimore bullpen keeps the game tied. As we head to the 8th, Derek Jeter called out on strikes to end the 7th. How about it, John?
Well, this pitch catches the strike zone. It's in top tier, and he's letting the umpire know you can't have both quadrants. You can't have it low and up. Well, what Derek will see is this pitch was a strike, maybe not the one that was called down. So great pitching nonetheless. Stayed stubborn with his sinker and going in, and then catches the front door fastball for strike 3.
So Tommy Hunter, Troy Patton, Luis Ayala all pitched in the 7th inning. Yankees failed to score. So here we go to the 8th in a 1-1 game, and David Robertson is the 3rd Yankee pitcher.
Well, David Robertson in this series has been pretty good. His fastball has been down. They have not picked it up. His curveball's been real good. I know that number there, 2 and 7. But after coming off the DL, he's been working his way back into the form that a brief spot as the closer when Mariano got hurt, and then turned over the reins to Soriano.
Robertson's really mixed in a breaking ball here lately. And the Orioles had trouble hitting him. They got 1 hit off of him, and that was that pop fly that was changed from an error to a hit. So they really haven't touched him.
J.J. Hardy leads it off here in the 8th and takes a strike. Hardy tried to sacrifice his first time after Nate McLouth had walked, laid it down, and the ball stayed fair. He earned an infield hit out of it. But the Orioles failed to score. This one's grounded to short. Sunday hop for Knicks. 1 down. Cal, how much did you enjoy a hop like that in all your days in the infield? Come right up to you.
Yeah, the normal 2-hopper. That was one of the best things you can get. And I prefer a slow runner. Give me a little more time to get the ball out of my glove.
In a perfect world. Here's Chris Davis.
You can set yourself up and throw. That's the most important thing. But I've had my anxious moments where you get in one of those funks where you can't throw the ball over there, and it doesn't make any difference either. But given my choice, that's the play I'd like to make.
Nice 2-hopper with a slow runner. Chris Davis behind 0-1 after the check swing foul ball. He's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. In the air, shallow right. Swisher on, Cano back. Cano makes the play, 2 down.
We haven't put too many 6-3s on the scoreboard today. A lot of fly balls, a lot of near misses, a lot of chances early by the Oriole team. Couldn't cash them in. And here we are 1-1.
First 4 innings, 3 times the Orioles had first and third. Couldn't chase anybody home. Their only run has come on a 5th inning solo homer from Nate McLouth. Here's Adam Jones with 2 down. He's now 2 for 19 this postseason.
He wants to hit so bad. You can tell he's jumpy. He's taking some bad swings. He's starting it early, getting his body in the wrong position, not letting the ball travel. You still got to get a good pitch to hit.
Robertson to the plate. And he's ahead 0-2. On their feet at Yankee Stadium as Robertson prepares to throw an 0-2 to Adam Jones. And the breaking pitch just missed. Didn't it, John?
It did, but for a guy who's struggling and struggling to stay back, you almost gave him a chance to do something. You got to get this ball away. Throw it anywhere away. He's proven he can't stay back to stay off that pitch.
Struck him out. Took half a 1-2-3 inning for David Robertson. We head to the bottom of the 8th. This spectacular aerial coverage is brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. We're at that territory in this game, fellas, where one swing, one pitch, one play could swing it one way or the other. Some guys love that. Some guys hate it on a particular ball club, Johnny.
Yeah, not everybody's suited out. Just because you put a uniform on doesn't mean you want to be the guy. I mean, it takes a certain mentality and a certain personality to be in that position of failure, meaning there's a chance to be the GOAT, but there's a great chance to be the hero, and not everybody handles it the way you would want. So it separates some of those guys from the rest.
Yeah, when we played in the series in '97, we played against the Indians. Every single play felt like this, and your stomach was tied in knots. But then when you got in the dugout, you think, man, this is great. But there are people, to John's point, you look around, and they're not enjoying themselves nearly as much.
Ichiro, right up the middle. Base hit to start the 8th. The last time Ichiro was in the postseason, he was playing with Seattle as a rookie, playing the Yankees. And the fans here were chanting Sayonara Ichiro at the end of that series. Now he's one of the favorites here, and he represents the go-ahead run with nobody out in the 8th.
Unfortunately, you hate that as a pitcher. The ball goes right through your legs. You got to find a way to knock it down. He's going to put a lot of pressure on this inning, but his ability to steal, and of course his ability really to make the pitcher make bad pitches to the hitters at the plate because of his ability to steal.
Luis Ayala, the 4th Baltimore pitcher of the night, working to Mark Teixeira with nobody out, and Ichiro at first. Over for a strike, 1-1.
Tech's got some big numbers against Ayala. 500, 4 for 8 with 3 of those hits are homers. In case you thought he might be bunting.
Hadn't crossed my mind or his. Ball and a strike. And Ayala with the lob over to keep Ichiro close. Ichiro with at least 20 stolen bases in every year of his career. Had 29 this year between Seattle and New York. Broken bat, base hit to center. Ichiro will stop at second. 2 on with nobody out. John, you had one go right through the wicket, another a broken bat, base hit.
Yeah, this is a scenario where you talk about the pressure and everything that's going on. The bat breaks, but he hits it in the right spot. The only good thing is Ichiro did not get a good jump because he's between the bat and the ball. Keeps him station to station, first and second. Your prize is Cano at the plate.
You saw Troy Mattis, or excuse me, you saw Brian Mattis in the pen. And you see Buck Showalter making his way to the mound. Brian Mattis, of course, has
Been super tough. And last night, gave it up in the 12th to Raul Ibanez. That's all for Ayala. 2 on, nobody out. Robinson Cano waiting to hit. He'll face Brian Mattis, the Baltimore left-hander, out of the pen. And he's a guy, Mattis, who's been called on to face Cano. Got him on the grounder in the first game, and in the second game, came on and intentionally walked him, then got a fly ball out on a swisher to get out of a jam. And the Orioles are in a jam here in the 8th. Yankees have runners at first and second, nobody out.
No place to put him right now.
Missed with the first one, 1-0.
Well, he's been in this situation just about every time that no room for error. So the exception of yesterday has been really, really good. And you try to get yesterday out of your mind as fast as you can. That first fastball he threw, he pulled it a little bit. Obviously, the last fastball he threw up. And Ibanez hit the home run.
Cano is 0 for 3, and he's ahead in the count, 2-0. Alex Rodriguez waits on deck. He had a good cut, 1 and 2. Let's go down to Craig Sager.
Well, this is a moment foreshadowed by Buck Showalter when this series began. When asked what the difference would be, he said, well, it's going to be about the pitching. It's always about the pitching. It's like the agent who says it's not about the money and end up being about the money. Who says it's not about the pitching? He said this series is going to be about the pitching, and here we go.
And it's Brian Mattis against Robinson Cano in a tie game, bottom of the 8th.
2-1 count. You got to trust your stuff. Whatever Wieters puts down, if you believe that's the best pitch, trust it. Throw it the best of your ability.
3-1. Alex Rodriguez, who has a walk, a hit, and a strikeout here in game 4, waits on deck. Can you blame him? That is stepping off.
Well, it's 3-1, and it isn't the end of the world. If you throw a good pitch, he doesn't bite, and you end up walking him.
Grounded to second. Flaherty will throw out Cano. The runners move up to second and third with 1 out, where a fly ball can untie it. Well, Mattis got Cano. And Buck Showalter takes the ball from the left-hander. It's all hands on deck in game 4. Back here at Yankee Stadium, game 4 here on TBS between the Orioles and Yankees. Darren O'Day, the 6th Baltimore pitcher, John.
Well, he's had the matchup twice previously with A-Rod. He struck him out both times. A funky delivery with a slurve and a riser. And then you look at the next 2 guys on this list. That's why I said it ain't the end of the world if you don't get Cano out and load up the bases. These guys have struggled, but nonetheless, one of these guys are going to have to make contact.
It's always good you have first base open, so it helps you with your pitch selection here. If you fall behind, you can choose other pitches and take a risk and a chance, or you can, you don't have to give in with first base open is what I'm trying to say.
A-Rod is 2 for 14 in this series. He did single in the 4th after a walk in the 2nd, but he struck out in the 6th. The go-ahead run is at third base. Oriole infield in.
And as an infielder, you have to make sure you're positioned where you can make the play to home. They're tight.
Darren O'Day, been a workhorse in this series for Buck Showalter. Ichiro leads from third. Teixeira at second. A fly ball will give the Yankees the lead. And it's 0-2.
Two pitches up in the strike zone. You might want to induce a ground ball here. You think the side armor O'Day would sink it. It looks like he's going for the punch out.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, that's the optimum. Less risk. Try to avoid the barrel of the bat. Get a strike 3. And deal with the next person that comes up.
He held up. A ball and 2 strikes.
Well, he did exactly that. Tried to climb the ladder. Didn't get him to bite.
Runners lead from second and third. And Rodriguez waves at strike 3.
Well, this is pretty much just going right after you. Fastball, here it is, 85. Fastball, 85. We're going to try one more time. And the risk of throwing this pitch has got to be really good. And it was, because when you're throwing a fastball by him, you'd think that slider speed bat might come into play, a pitch over the middle, but he swept that off the plate. Good sequence for O'Day.
Now the Orioles with a chance to get out of this jam. Ichiro and Teixeira started the inning with singles. Cano grounded out. A-Rod struck out. Here's Swisher. He's 0 for 3. Didn't mean to. 0-1.
I think the count, meaning the pitcher's favor, will determine how you attack the hitter with a base open, because you have a right-hander on deck. So he's gotten ahead with that slider, that sneaky slurve, if you will. And the hitter's job is to figure out how he's going to pitch to him, if he's actually going to go after him or nibble. But we all have documented Swisher's struggles.
O'Day to the plate. That ball is hit to right. Plenty of room for Chris Davis. Darren O'Day comes on, and for the moment saves the day. We're heading to the 9th. We move to the 9th at Yankee Stadium. Surprise, surprise, tie game. This has been a whale of a series in the American League.
It really has. It's been fun to watch, fun to be a part of. I know the players were wishing maybe there were some blowouts here or there to ease their stomach. But you got Soriano coming in, and what is another game where it's tied, and he has not factored in a save opportunity yet.
In game 1, it was 2-2 going to the 9th. Game 2, the Orioles led 3-2. Game 3, Orioles led 2-1. Yankees won in 12. Here, 1-1 in game 4 as we head to the 9th. And Matt Wieters will lead it off.
If this year they went 9-9, it would be only fitting if they had a big swing here to tie it up to go 2-2. I know that's not what the Yankees want, but this has been so well played that somebody's got to come up big for Baltimore. Someone has to be that hero. See if that is the case.
Matt Wieters just 1 for 15 in the series. And it's a ball and a strike. He's walked tonight. Flied out and popped up. Soriano to the plate. Easy play for Cano. And down. Now Jim Thome has not had a hit in this series. 0 for 11 out of the DH spot. And 1 for 14 in the postseason. And looks at a strike from Soriano.
He possesses a lot of power. There's not too many ballparks that can hold him. Left center field, right center. But he hasn't got his swing going yet.
Hit pretty well. And Thome will try to leg this out as Nix couldn't handle the sharply hit grounder. So an opportunity here in the 9th for the Orioles.
It's not a severe shift, but he hits right into the shift, and that second hop just bit him a little bit right here. Again, if you can keep it close to you, you got Thome running. He's not running very good to first base, but the ball got away from him a little too far. No chance.
So Lou Ford will be the pinch runner. They give Thome a single, his first hit of the series. And here is Mark Reynolds. He's hitless on the night. A strikeout, pop up, and a fly out. And he comes up dry on that offering from Soriano.
What you've seen all series so far for the Orioles, anything away with their hitters, they're pulling out, trying to get to that ball, trying to yank. And when you're in that kind of mode and you make pitches, you're going to make hitters look silly. And really, the one amazing thing is we haven't seen pitchers make that kind of mistake that gives the hitter that out, that freedom where they're pulling their left shoulder and the only one area they can hit the ball and lift it over the fence.
We've seen Josh Hamilton swing wildly when he's not seeing the ball really good. He looks bad. We've seen Adam Jones tonight. When he's not swinging real well, he seems to be flailing away. But you're right. When you get into a launch mode, your first move is up and off the plate. The outside corner seems a mile away.
Martin made a scrambling block on that pitch. It's 1-2. The pinch runner at first is Lou Ford, who's back in the big leagues this year for the first time since 2007. Used to play with the Twins and started this year in the Independent League for the Long Island Ducks. Now he's on a huge stage. And they've got him picked off, and they got him. Ford caught leading, and Soriano picked him off.
Obviously, he was running. They held the ball a little longer, which is the best weapon against a guy that you might think is running, and then come strong to first base. First move towards second, can't get back.
Well, the other thing, he got caught, so he couldn't go back in with his outside arm or hand.
Reynolds, strike three. Ball gets away. Martin to Teixeira. And that ends the inning. Costly base running error for the Orioles. We go to the bottom of the ninth.
The second.
Bottom of the ninth in the Bronx. And in this series between the Orioles and the Yankees, the two top home run hitting teams in baseball, they've each hit 3 in this series. All have been solo homers. One's been a game-tying homer. The other 5 go-ahead homers. And the one walk-off last night by Raul Ibanez. But in game 1 of this series, when the game was tied 2-2 in the top of the ninth at Camden Yards, Russell Martin did this. And that sparked a 5-run rally for the Yankees, en route to their game 1 victory 7-2. Here in game 4, Martin will lead off the ninth against Darren O'Day.
Well, we're at this position because the Orioles had second and third, nobody out, and could not find a way to score 1, yet alone 2 runs. So second and third, 1 out. The Yankees had an opportunity to take the lead in the bottom of the 8th. They could not do it. So missed opportunities, getting home field advantage. This is why the Yankees have a slight advantage at this current point.
So I got to go back 11 years for games won in walk-off style back-to-back in the World Series of '01. O'Day to Russell Martin. Lays off of it 1-0. I think it was earlier in this series, maybe game 2, that John said, remember to breathe when you're on the mound in a situation like this. And you saw the deep breath taken by O'Day, who throws a strike to Martin, 1-1.
How about when you got the headsets on watching from up here? You still breathe?
It's been that kind of a series. There's the guy who got it all done in game 3 last night, Raul Ibanez. Tapper to third. Machado throws out Martin, 1 down. Well, it has been a struggle in this series and in this game for Curtis Granderson. He's 0 for 3 tonight, 1 for 14 in the series, and he has struck out twice tonight. He hit 43 home runs in the regular season, tied for second most in the American League. And if he were to do that here, this place would erupt. Takes a strike, 0-1. Hit it hard but foul. Down among the photographers just to the right of the Yankee dugout. Hope everybody's okay down there.
What's interesting about Granderson and Reynolds, for that matter, most of their hard hit balls have been pulled foul. To your point, where you're getting out, trying to go get the baseball, not letting it come to you, and certainly the pitchers are taking advantage of guys that are having trouble making contact.
O'Day's 0-2. Just missed. Ball and 2 strikes to Granderson. Orioles must win to force a game 5. Granderson had a notion, held up 2-2.
Well, great job trying to get him to bite away on a sinker. Then he goes and rides it back up. See if he throws that frisbee and gets him to swing over the top of it after seeing a couple fastballs and changing his eye level.
Here comes the 2-2. Breaking pitch missed. Full count.
There's a good effort. He just never made it look at all like a strike. It was outside the whole way. Still has the luxury to back that up, in my opinion. You go to either pitch. You're pitching this as if the hitter is still aggressive. So if you think he's still aggressive, it does not have to be a strike based on these at-bats previously.
Payoff pitch due to Granderson. In the air to right center. Adam Jones, 2 down.
See right there, that probably is ball 4, but the hitter wants to do something positive.
Well, look who's in the on-deck circle. He's grabbed a bat. He's going to pinch it here in the 9th. Inning last night tied the game. 12th inning last night. He won the game. Raul Ibanez. The reason the Yankees lead this series 2-1. The reason they look for the clincher here tonight. The shift is on by the Orioles. Left side wide open. Ibanez takes a strike.
You might consider putting up 4 fingers.
Well, you just don't want to get him extended. He's gotten extended on both of his home runs. And as Joe Girardi has said, look, the guy's got a good swing. And with a good swing, he's been producing a lot of power when the situation is called for it.
Boy, did he have a cut. No balls and 2 strikes.
I've always liked his swing. It's short, it's compact, it's powerful. Ball's a little away and a little up. He's in a little hook mode, though.
He only took 2 swings last night and hit 2 home runs. He's behind 0-2.
Tell you what, for a sidearmer, it is difficult to get the ball up when the catcher calls up for a traditional pitcher. He's done a great job, and every one of these occasions I've seen the ball up, he gets it up to that area and gives a chance to be swung at.
O'Day with a 1-2. And the count even.
It is a little bit odd for a sidearmer or a sinker baller that throws down there to be able to elevate at where you'd like to go. The hitter is trying to get his sights down low, and if you don't get it up high, your velocity is not as fast as it should be normally to pitch up there. And he does it very effectively.
40-year-old Raul Ibanez waiting. On the ground to first. Reynolds will win the race to the bag. And that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Darren O'Day and the Orioles. We are going to the 10th.
The League Division Series on TBS is brought to you by Chevrolet. Proud to support youth baseball in cities and towns across the country. By Red Robin and their new Tavern Double and Bottomless Fries, just $6.99 every day. By State Farm, for home, auto, life, and banking. Get to a better state. And by Viagra.
Hi again, it's Matt Weiner in Atlanta with a Bank of America game break and an update from Oakland. Game 5 of the Tigers-A's series on TNT right now. That's Austin Jackson with an RBI double in the 3rd, accounted for. Ron Jackson then scored on a wild pitch, so 2-0 with Justin Verlander on the mound. He's already struck out 4. Tigers lead at 2-0, and don't forget Inside MLB presented by Captain Morgan later on TNT.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. We're heading to the 10th inning here at Yankee Stadium. And the eye-popping number this season that belonged to the Baltimore Orioles, as you see Eduardo Nunez, the new Yankee shortstop,
was that streak of 16 consecutive extra inning wins after dropping the first 2 games in extras to the Yankees this season. And then that 16-game streak came to a halt last night as the Yankees beat him with the Ibanez bomb on the 12th. Ryan Flaherty will lead it off. And he takes a strike from Rafael Soriano.
How long do you stay with Soriano in a game like this? You have the advantage, you're up. How long do you use your closer?
This will be it. You got CC Sabathia going tomorrow, and this will be it. I know you want to think about winning this game and not worry about tomorrow, but you still have to have some kind of concern for preserving a guy that will be able to close out a game tomorrow if you have one. So I think this is it. 2's the max.
Flaherty's got a single in 3 trips. He homered last night in game 3.
Previous inning went so quick as well. You know, you're more concerned about pitches than you are innings. If he had a 30-pitch inning to get out of the 9th, I don't know that he would have ran him back out here necessarily.
Came on the air tonight talking about the Orioles and their struggles offensively and trying to generate something. Tonight it's been a solo home run for Nate McLouth. There were some opportunities sprinkled in, but they could not pick up a clutch hit, Cal.
There were opportunities all over the place. The biggest one, second and third, no outs. Whereas a productive out might move one runner over and one runner in, and a sac fly might score 2. They took a chance on trying to score in a little dribbler. That could have been a costly base running mistake.
The 2-2 to Flaherty. Did he check his swing? Yes, he did. Tony Randazzo made the call down there at third.
Give those guys credit. They're a long ways away. And they get that right a good majority of the time. When I was on the mound, I didn't think they got it right.
It's a kinder, gentler John Smoltz making an appearance here in the 10th. Payoff pitch to Flaherty. And we'll do it again. Three-2 is in the air to shallow center. Randerson settles under it, 1 down. Bottom of the order now in Manny Machado. 20-year-old third baseman is 0 for 2 tonight. He did walk in the 2nd but struck out in the 3rd and the 7th. 1 for 12 in the series.
I wonder if somebody in the dugout or maybe the hitting coach at some point says, hey, I know it's easier said than done. Sit on this breaking ball. This is what they're going to throw you. But you're taught to react.
A little nubber into foul territory over there by the Yankee dugout. 0-1.
In Manny's young career, he does have a homer off of Soriano. So he has a little history he can go off of in this situation. But yeah, I think they've been throwing him a steady diet of breaking balls, trying to keep it away from him. That would be good, strong advice. Then you'd get hit diving out over the plate. I think I was hit 7 times in the head, as a hitter in the helmet. Every single time I was looking for a breaking ball, and it wasn't one.
A 1-1 is down low. Cal, you made mention of this, the fact that the rookie did take Soriano deep on September 7th. Right down the line at Camden Yards. Rodriguez guarding the line here in the 10th. Nunez playing in the hole at short.
couple fastballs up in the strike zone.
Two balls, two strikes. Here it comes. Foul back to the screen. You talk about Machado getting an education in the major leagues and a crash course. Made his debut in the middle of August, or early August, and was the player of the week his first week. Was surprised to get the call up as he hits this ball to left, and Ichiro puts it away for the second out. And then he's playing third base, which was a surprise to him, and here he is on the stage of the postseason at the age of 20. A lot to go in the memory bank at an early age, Cal.
He might not know any better yet. His impression might be this is the big leagues. This is how it is. No matter what happens, he's going to gain experience. He's going to apply it forward. You know, playing third base for however long he plays third base, if he ever goes to shortstop, he'll learn a lot where he can take over to shortstop with him. He's a good player.
Nate McLouth is 2 out of 3. A double and a home run. So he's accounted for the only Baltimore run, and it came in the 5th inning. Got one he liked from Phil Hughes and put it in the seats and right. He bats now with 2 down in the 10th and takes a strike 1-1.
So with 2 quick outs, John, are you careful right here with Nate swinging the bat well?
Oh,
one of the few guys.
absolutely. I mean, you could single-handedly say he may be the only guy in the lineup swinging the bat well.
That ball is fair right down the line. Teixeira makes the play. 3 up and 3 down. We go bottom 10. Top of the order for the Yankees in the bottom half of the 10th. Derek Jeter to lead it off. The DH for the Yankees tonight. He doubled in the 6th and has scored the only New York run. Robert Andino, the new Baltimore second baseman. Darren O'Day back out there again for the Orioles out of the pen. He is the 6th Baltimore pitcher. Joe Saunders started it all shortly after 7:30 when they began this game 4. And here we are in extra innings for the 2nd straight night.
Well, O'Day has done an incredible job and now pushing the limit a little bit and extending him because the top of the lineup is up. Certainly the most potent opportunity for the Yankees.
O'Day came on in the 8th, struck out A-Rod with 2 on, and got Swisher to fly out for the 3rd out, and then retired the side in order in the 9th. A win and the Yankees are in the American League Championship Series. If Baltimore prevails, there will be a Game 5 tomorrow here in New York. Jeter 1 out of 4, a couple of strikeouts. Tapper to third, didn't mean to. Machado throws him out. O'Day has done himself a job, not only in this game, but in this series.
Yeah, and you don't see Jeter do that very often. Usually he's committed on being able to put the ball where he wants to, and right there, last minute check just see, that goes to show you right there. See what check swings can do.
They can hit a bullet to third baseman.
Yeah, that's why a lot of guys go. I'm changing my mind, Ernie.
O'Day's got to feel fortunate about a 1-pitch at bat to Jeter, who has battled all night long. Ichiro swings at the first pitch. Quickly 2 up and 2 down.
So you're going to make Tex take this one?
Not in this situation. New pitcher coming in. He's ready to rock and roll. So if it's the best pitch you see, all bets are off. But I think he will take it. And that may be part of what, besides the catcher giving him a break from running over to first, they had a conversation to say, hey, let's not go by this general rule. We all go by that there won't be 3 pitches and 3 outs.
Yeah, it'd be a good reminder. Don't just lay this one in here.
Teixeira has singled. He's walked a couple of times and struck out. He bats with nobody on, 2 out in the bottom half of the 10th. Frisbee stayed outside to steal John's turn. With your permission, of course. 1-0.
Just don't get carried away, okay?
Phil Hughes, who was the starter a long time ago tonight. And there is Joe Saunders, the guy who beat the Texas Rangers in the wild card game and got the ball in another elimination game for the Orioles here tonight. And boy, did he pitch well. Teixeira waiting on a 2-0 from Darren O'Day. 3 balls and no strikes. Robinson Cano waiting on deck.
Definitely, Texas pretty good if he's got the green light and only swinging at that one pitch he wants. He didn't want that one. He had a coffee can, maybe a glass full of an area where he wanted to look for.
And if it's not there, you're laying off.
It didn't look like he was ready for that one. He didn't look like he was swinging. This is where I had a lot of conversations with myself. Make sure you see the ball. Stay on it. Don't swing too hard.
The 3-1. Inside, ball 4. And the potential winning run is on first.
I tell you, you might be tempted in this situation unprecedentedly because the guy behind Cano has struggled. Let that first pitch determine how you're going to pitch him, but it's not a given that you're going to just want to attack New York's best hitter when you got a guy on deck struggling.
Cano has gone hitless tonight, but his ground out in the 6th scored Jeter with the Yankees' only run. Breaking pitch over 0-1.
The tough thing is if they throw a wild pitch and Tex goes to second. Definitely open up the opportunity.
There's Adam Jones in center. Here's a situation for the outfield. You don't want to give up a double over your head that can score this run. If the ball goes over your head, it should go over the fence.
O'Day ahead, 0-2. Cano came into this series with a 9-game hitting streak during which he hit .615. But he is just 2 for 16 in this series. Teixeira leads from first. The 0-2. Popped him straight up in the infield. J.J. Hardy calls and makes the play. 10 innings, not enough. We're going to the 11th. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Last night we went 12. Tonight we moved to the top half of the 11th in a 1-1 game. And Jabba Chamberlain on the pitch for the New York Yankees.
Well, Jabba, this is his first chance at postseason play this year. Really had to battle a lot. Not only Tommy John, but that ankle. And talking to him, he said that ankle was far worse than Tommy John could ever be. And he has his moments. He's been really good at times, and then he'll leave a pitch or a slider, and the inconsistency of really not having a normal year. So for the Yankees, when they looked at this year, a healthy Jabba was really going to strengthen the bullpen, but they'll take what they can get at this point, and he's ready for action.
Yeah, that open dislocation of the right ankle in a trampoline accident at home with his son, and so he went from things really just went from bad to worse for him, and here he is making his first appearance of this series for the Yankees in the 11th inning of what could be the clincher for New York. He'll face the 2, 3, 4 hitters for Baltimore. Here's J.J. Hardy. Hardy 1 out of 4, reached on a bunt single in the first. And starts him off 94 for a strike.
Well, Hardy greeted Jabba with a home run in his season debut on August 1st.
Tapper cut off by Rodriguez, and Teixeira made the tag. The value of a slick field and first baseman.
Here's a ground ball. Alex does a nice job to get over. One hands it, but has to throw on the run, and the ball sails up the line just a little bit, but we've come to expect Mark to make that play every single time. Catch and a tag. He makes it look really easy. It's not that easy.
One down here in the 11th. And Chris Davis cuts through that one, 0-1.
They have really given Chris Davis some fits on some sliders, and a couple early that backed up. They weren't great. That was a really good one, but they have off-speeded him tonight. You can see he's ready to swing right when it comes out of the pitcher's hand. Now you see that as a pitcher. Triple up. No need to even change his eye level when he's swinging on a pitch like that.
That did not take long. Davis down on strikes for the 3rd time tonight.
I think the reason the score is 1-1 is these hitters have not given the pitcher anything to think about, to sweat. And when you can throw those kind of pitches with no stress, that is a really good thing if you're a pitcher, not if you're a hitter.
Yeah, you got to remind yourself it's not about the one swing. It's not about the home run. Let's put some at bats together. If you're the offense right now, you have to think not ending this game with one swing, although we saw it happen last night. That's not the approach a hitter should take in these situations. It almost seems like it's the opposite. Pull yourself back. We saw Derek tell Robinson Cano, okay, easier.
And that was a good take right there. Believe it or not, I mean, the previous swings that he's had, why not tempt that first pitch and throw it in the dirt?
That ball is hit well by Jones, but Nunez on the backhand throws him out. And that's a 1-2-3-11 for Jabba Chamberlain.
Hi again, Matt Weiner in Atlanta with a Bank of America game break. Justin Verlander's been handed a 2-0 lead, and he is running with it.
Norris strikes out. Verlander gets him in the end. And picks
Another
up his
strikeout for him, and it's a 2-0 Tiger lead. That game on TNT. Don't forget our post-game coverage inside MLB, presented by Captain Morgan, will be on TNT as well.
All right, thank you very much, Matt Weiner. Putting in a long, long day in the studio with Boomer Wells and Dennis Eckersley.
Oh, I thought you said he was putting in a long day because of Boomer Wells. Was that not what you were saying?
The thoughts of John Smoltz are his and his alone. Pedro Strop enters the game for the Orioles for the first time in this series. The 7th Baltimore pitcher. Cal, they used him a lot in the regular season. Very effective early, but not so much lately.
I think he was a great addition to the bullpen. He's got dynamite stuff. He throws the ball extremely hard with movement up in the upper 90s and with a good breaking ball. So he was a good bridge that allowed Jimmy Johnson to stay in a tighter role as the closer and really allowed him to just come in to close games. But he hasn't been used a whole lot down the stretch. They had a couple other additions down there. And so he could be a little rusty, but I tell you what, his arm will be live.
Do not adjust your sets. That graphic was correct. A-Rod this series from the 6th inning on. 0 for 8 with 7 straight strikeouts. And he leads it off here in the 11th. Takes a strike, 0-1.
A-Rod does have a home run off of Pedro.
And what do you see when you watch him at the plate now, Cal?
Well, I thought he was making an adjustment. He was a little bit more active early on, swinging the bat. He was ready to swing the bat.
Swinging there and grounding to Hardy, who throws him out for the first out. Continue.
Yeah, you have to swing the bat to get your timing. There's some theories out there that says you want to be a little bit more aggressive because you tend to foul balls off a little bit more. He tried the taking route, and all of a sudden it was strike 1, strike 2, and now you're on the defensive. At least tonight, I think he's made a little bit more of an adjustment to say, I'm gonna dictate the at bat, not you dictate it to me.
With one down, here's Swisher. The struggle has continued for the Yankee right fielder here in game 4. 0 for 4, 2 for 14 for the series, with 1 run batted in.
Well, if a lefty's looking for that pitch, that's where I kind of lean back in my chair. That's that deadly down and in, golf it out. Wasn't looking maybe for that pitch as the first pitch.
Swisher takes down low, count even, a ball and a strike.
That was 97. Smooth 97 with some downward movement. And he has the ability to get the breaking ball over. He didn't have the ability to get the breaking ball over when he was struggling a little bit.
That ball hit to left. Nate McLeod back on the track, short of the wall, makes the play. Two up and 2 down here in the 11th. And here is Russell Martin. One more look at Swisher.
And here's the dangerous part. When he goes back, there's a bunch of people on that fence leaning over. You can see their hands right there. And we know all too familiar, and how Cal is too familiar with people right there trying to affect the game in a, well, positive way for their home team.
Left field version of the modern day Jeffrey Mayer. But that ball well short of the wall. Here's Russell Martin, who has the only 2 walk-off homers in the regular season for the Yankees. Of course, Ibanez getting it done last night in game 3.
I was watching that live, and almost everyone in that first row begging for that ball to get close enough, as McLeod was veering towards the wall.
You're not going to get a reaction out of me, John. Stop trying.
I'm not. That's as far as I go. Only calling what I see over there.
A will of iron from Cal Ripken. Strike 3 to Martin, the throw down to first. And we are moving on to the 12th. Heading to the top half of the 12th in Game 4 of the ALDS. You know, Cal, we just couldn't resist.
Somehow I knew that.
We're going back to 1996. Jeter at the plate, Tony Tarasco on the track, and Jeffrey Mayer into baseball history. Now is your time to talk, Cal.
I'm just reliving the moment in slow motion. Yeah, after all these years, you always ask yourself, what if? What if that was called differently? What if we had instant replay?
Exactly.
We ended up losing that series, I think 4-1, but we could have left New York here 2-0, I think. And it could have been a different story.
Jeffrey Mayer now goes just by Jeff Mayer and lives in New Hampshire. A few writers have caught up with him surrounding this series now. You know, Dan Connolly with the Baltimore Sun and George King with the New York Post. And Jeff Mayer says, yeah, just watching this by the fireplace in New Hampshire. Will not be at the ballpark. Matt Wieters leading it off in the 12th. He has a walk in 4 plate appearances tonight.
It's my last inning to scorekeep, Ernie.
So, again, scorebook issues for Smoltz. Look at that broken bat that hit Jabba Chamberlain. The ball fell fair and left. And let's look at Jabba Chamberlain. The barrel of the bat went out there and hit him in the arm.
One of the rare times you see a bat. Of course, a pitcher's looking in. That bat catches him flush. Hopefully everything's okay. He's had a rough year. We mentioned all the things that have happened to him. As a pitcher, you let go of the ball and then you're turning his back. He turns his back to see what's going to happen to the ball hit off the bat. He has no chance to see this until the last minute. You can see his shadow and hits him on the back of the elbow. And hope that all it did was hit a nerve, and I'm sure his hand goes numb. But that's that is the biggest part of the bat that I've seen come off. And you can see he only had a very little part of the handle.
And he was stunned to see the barrel flying at him. He had turned his attention elsewhere, and that thing caught him. And we'll see if Jabba's going to be okay and try to stay in this game.
He's a horse, and you could see Wieters with a good show of sportsmanship. He said, look out. Nobody wants to see that. The bat breaks right in half. That barrel's coming out with full force. Catches him right on the elbow.
Just waiting for the feeling to come back in your fingers.
And what else can happen in what has been a strange year and a difficult year for Jabba Chamberlain?
And he's got to be thinking that to himself. Yeah, he's got a nice mark right there.
Boy, look at the welt on his elbow.
He gave the thumbs up.
Yeah, that's what they're looking at right now. That's the one thing that'll concern you when you got inflammation in there, and obviously that inflammation's going to move around, and you do the best you can. That's a frustrating moment for Jabba. You just can't take a chance when you got that much blood in there and inflammation. It's like getting hit at the plate and still trying to go out the very next moment and throw a pitch. It's not.
Let's watch this and listen.
That is too bad. Now the pitcher coming in will get all the time he wants on the mound. But the tendency when everybody's sitting here waiting for you to get ready, sometimes the tendency is you get ready quicker than you want to just because everyone's sitting around waiting. But
wow, 12th inning, and what a strange turn of events here. Matt Wieters reaches with the broken bat single, and the barrel ends the night for Jabba Chamberlain. Back with more from Yankee Stadium after this. Back here in New York, 12th inning in Game 4 between the Orioles and the Yankees, all tied up at 1. And David Phelps is the new New York pitcher in relief of Jabba Chamberlain, who has been forced to leave the game here in the 12th after being hit by the barrel of the bat when Matt Wieters broke his bat on a single to left. And again, it got him just flush on that right elbow. Immediately had the big swelling.
I mean, that's just the last thing you think about as a pitcher. I mean, you could see where guys swing and miss, and the barrel of their bat actually comes out. But you know the ball's been missed, so you're looking ahead. You can see it. This is a case where the ball is hit, so you're turning around to see what the reaction or the play is. Unfortunately, like you said, the yell of look out or heads up, and then the shadow seeing the thing coming at you. No chance to.
Well, certainly with the bat flying through the air, the blunt side of it hit him, which is the harder part of the bat. You could hear the sound on the elbow, but there's a jagged side too. I've seen Harold Baines get sawed off and the bat fly out, and the jagged side actually, I can't remember the pitcher's name, but it hit him and actually cut him.
And Cal, you know the effect of when you're a hitter, and certainly it's not your objective, but every now and then you'll get a piece of the pitcher on the opposite side. Happened to you in your career, certainly.
Yeah, you feel bad. I was looking at Wieters' feelings, and he's looking out there. He's very concerned. And I hit one back up the middle off of Andy Pettit. Hit it really good. He got his hand up, his glove up, and hit him right on the mouth, which bloodied his lip. We were all concerned. There's me standing on the outside, looking in, trying to help any way you can, but it's a horrible feeling to have.
Well, here in the 12th inning, it's Matt Wieters who broke his bat and caught Jabba Chamberlain in the elbow. Wieters stands at first with nobody out in a tie game.
Well, you try to be tough and you try to say this is part of the competition, but it still sticks with you a little bit. You feel somewhat responsible, even though it's not your fault.
Now David Phelps done with his warm-up tosses. And becomes the 6th Yankee pitcher of the night.
Well, here's the issue I have if you're Buck and you're struggling offensively. Do you want multiple opportunities to get hits to score runs, or do you bunt them over and take limited opportunities with a runner on second?
Throw over bounced, and Teixeira corralled it.
Now, then they're not worried about Wieters stealing right there. You want to throw over to try to get some sort of indication
whether the hitter is
squaring or not. And you want to sell that. You don't want to just throw over because you see the sign that says throw over. Come set, give a good quick move to first base so that the infielders can look at, especially the third baseman, Alex in this case, that as he wants to charge, we need to know if he's bunting or not.
The hitter, Cal, is Lou Ford, who's looking for some redemption after what happened in the 9th inning. He came out as a pinch runner for Jim Thome, who had singled and was promptly picked off.
And so it looks like Buck gave him the opportunity to swing. Alex was in there charging a little bit, which whole hole is open on that left side of the infield. You could pass him pretty easy with a pretty firm ground ball, but I would suspect he's going to go to the bunt.
Not squaring, swinging away, and it's 0-2.
And I would suspect wrong.
This umpire feels that right off the mask. That is not too comfortable.
Field and Culbreth says he's okay.
I don't know, conventional thinking would be put pressure, get him on second, but see, this is what I was saying. There's been such a tough at bats for a lot of these Orioles. Would you rather have a fresh guy come in and see what he can do, maybe hit a gap, maybe get a single, create more opportunities that way? Outs have come too easy.
Russell Martin hopping around back there. Another great stop to keep Wieters at first.
And they haven't been successful with runners in scoring position, putting a little pressure on them, so maybe going to play for a multiple run inning. Let's see if we can score more than one.
This is Phelps' first postseason opportunity. I'm sure when he was getting here to the park, he was thinking of situations he might get in the ball game, and I don't know if this was one of them.
Phelps to Lou Ford. Downstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, his approach is a lot different than the free swingers that we've seen from the Orioles so far. He's sitting there, short swing, looking at the ball, trying to put the ball in play. He did get a hit, a double off of CC Sabathia. Runs well.
That missed, and the count is full, 3-2.
And this is the key question. Do you put him in motion? If you strike him out, it's almost assuredly a throw him out. But by putting the runner in motion, a ground ball then advances the runner.
I think you almost have to. I mean, why not? You got to trust the guy at the plate who's looked like he's got a better idea and a feel for the pitches.
Wieters not going as Ford fouls it down the right side. We'll do it again, 3-2.
So I guessed bunt.
Well,
you guessed steal.
I just think he missed the sign, personally. I think we'll see a different reaction right here.
Many managers will have a hold. They'll say you're automatically running on 3-1 or 3-2 until you see a hold.
Not going.
Yeah, he missed it twice.
Almost an identical pitch and result to the previous.
And what that does, that hold sign, it eliminates giving the live sign. And so many times you look down and he won't be doing much. And the hold can be something not so obvious that might not be in the signs.
Phelps will deliver another 3-2 pitch to Lou Ford. And again fouled back. First pitch of this game was thrown nearly 4 hours ago. And here we are for the second straight night in the 12th inning. Wieters leads from first. Ford waits, and there's a fly ball to right field. Nick Swisher, 1 down. Now here's Mark Reynolds, who struck out twice. He's 0 for 4. And 3 for 15 in this series.
In case you're wondering, Buck values Matty Wieters behind the plate way too much to even think about pinch running right here. Matt calls the game. He's got a great arm, controls the base running. He's not going to put in a runner and take a chance here.
Wieters at first with 1 out. Reynolds takes outside, a ball and a strike.
Here's the other little note, side note. If it hasn't been already tough for Jim Johnson, he has to get ready in case for the last 3 innings his team takes the lead. So you're fidgeting, you're looking at the base runners, you've warmed up a few times, and if they score a run, obviously you'll see him jump on the mound and get ready.
2 balls and a strike to Reynolds.
How long does it take a closer to get ready?
Well, at this point, it'll only take him about 10 pitches because he's already warmed up a few times. The longer this game goes and the more scoring opportunities, if there are any, then you get hot and you trust the fact that you're already loose. But
to right, and Swisher in a couple of steps for the second out. So Wieters, after the leadoff single, is still there as Robert Andino steps in for the first time.
He's had a good series.
He's got some pop behind that bat. He can shoot a gap and certainly hit a home run. Now, obviously, if he shoots a gap here, it'll be tough for Wieters to score on a double, but he will be going at the crack of the bat.
3 out of 7 in the series, came on as a defensive replacement for Ryan Flaherty. And swings at the first one, fouls it back 0-1.
Four out of the 8 in the whole postseason. Got a big hit down in Texas as well to give them a couple extra runs. He looks small. He's got a lot of power.
Quickly he falls behind, 0-2. David Phelps came out of the pen when Jabba Chamberlain had to leave earlier here in the 12th, when Jabba was hit by the broken bat of Matt Wieters. And he's a strike away from ending the 12th. He came close. 1-2.
Every time I see a few of these Yankees come out of the pen and throw tight cutters, that was a curveball. I go, I wonder where they learned that cutter.
A 1-2. Up and away, count even.
Nobody has a cutter like Mariano.
No.
Nobody.
The Orioles scored their only run of this game 7 innings ago. Solo home run by Nate McLeod. And Dino goes down swinging. Last night ended in the 12th. The Yankees come to the bat in the bottom of the 12th in Game 4.
Hi again, Matt Weiner with the Bank of America Game Break. An update on what's happening in Oakland right now, and what's mostly happening is Justin Verlander is shutting down the A's. 8 strikeouts tonight, 19 strikeouts in his 2 starts so far in this series. 2-0 Tigers, who are threatening as we send it back to the Bronx. By the way, EJ, just a bit of trivia here. David Phelps and I attended the same high school, Hazelwood West, in St. Louis. So it's a big night for the Wildcats.
Yes, I've been made aware of that. In fact, I was looking at their media guide, and in his personal column it says, went to the same high school as Matt Weiner of Turner Sports. And he did the job in the 12th. Doesn't really say that, Cal. Pedro Strop back on the hill for the Orioles. And the Yankees will try to end this one in the 12th like they did last night. The guy who ended it in the 12th last night has already pinch hit, Raul Ibanez, so there will not be magic from his bat for the 2nd straight night. But Curtis Granderson leads it off. 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. If the Yankees win, they move to the American League Championship Series. If the Orioles win, there's a Game 5 tomorrow. That's the scenario. as Granderson takes 1-0.
Curtis is a really good fastball hitter. And the guys are throwing the ball really hard. He gets excited.
Had a notion, didn't go, called strike.
2 breaking balls. I guess they saw his excitement.
Strop brings the 1-1 to Granderson. Down low. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, the rest that Strop has gotten has quieted his mechanics. You know, when you get tired, you try to use your body more. And when you get to that point, you don't effectively throw the pitches in the correct position.
Strop has to come in now with a 3-1 count as Granderson leads off the 12th. The count is full.
That's a great pitch right there.
96, 97 miles an hour running away. You can drop a 3-1 breaking ball.
And Granderson's miseries continue in this series. 3rd strikeout of the night. He's 0 for 5.
See, and I hate to beat on this, but you don't have to throw 3 strikes tonight. I mean, you just got to get close enough to feed off the aggressiveness of hitters that just aren't recognizing the pitches. They all want to do something special. They all want to try to hit that 1 home run. And credit the call. I mean, you know, that could have easily been ball 4 and a rally and a bunt and maybe, you know, who knows, but
that is 9 strikeouts in this series for Granderson. And here it is, Eduardo Nunez. Jason Nix got the start at shortstop tonight with Derek Jeter in the DH role. This is the first at bat of the night for Nunez. On the ground to 3rd. Machado. Alive, that arm. 2 down.
That's a cannon. He showed it a little bit off of Ichiro, flipping from the side early on when he didn't have much time. And that right there, 2-hopper we talked about, that's not that normal 2-hopper too. You got to back up and then say,
The thing's got another gear, Cal.
well, you know, I watched the first go around to the infield as Saunders was getting ready, and he threw a pellet. That'd have been like, kid, come here. That's too hard. He does have a cannon.
Well, 2 down here in the 12th. And here's Derek Jeter. He doubled in the 6th and scored the only New York run on Cano's groundout.
Derek was having a little conversation with himself. I couldn't see what he was saying. He was talking to himself. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Missed inside, a ball and a strike.
Well, when Ernie does it, he starts out by saying, Self, I want to...
Self, how long do you think this game might go? We're in the 12th right now. There's no telling. Nowhere near 1 and 2.
That right there is trying to not get beat by a fastball, and the tightness on this slider. You can't see it very well at home. You'll see a red dot where the seams come together, and that tiny red dot is hard to pick up. If you see a bigger circle, if the hitter sees that those seams coming together and making a circle like a quarter, the fan is catching it because that's a hanger. When you have 97 and you can just throw a slider about 86 to 87, man.
Well, that's the result. Ball and 2 strikes to Jeter.
You've seen a few circles in your time when
yeah, it's the weirdest thing. The real tight circle coming in. You can see it from your side as a pitcher.
Yeah.
And you can see it also from the other side as a as a batter.
Strop with the 1-2. Right back at him and through into center field for a 2-out hit.
Well, right there, it looked like they were going to try to outguess Jeter. Made him look foolish on the slider, thinking maybe they're going to throw another one. Jeter stays too inside the ball to be able to fool him in those situations. That's why he's got the amount of hits that he has in his career.
And he's got 8 hits in this series, 2 tonight. Here's the winning run at first. Here's Ichiro. Ichiro laid down a sacrifice bunt in the 6th. Got Jeter over, and then Cano knocked him in with the ground out. On the ground, and look at Reynolds with this slick play.
Wow.
Takes it himself to get Ichiro. How about a 13th inning? We're on our way. Gotcha.
They're in there again.
Back here in New York, top half of the 13th inning, and between innings, this in the Oriole dugout.
Trying to steal a little bit of the Giants mojo. I think the Giants done this a couple times in their rally, down 2 games, winning 3 in Cincinnati.
Runs at a premium here in Game 4. Nate McLouth, solo homer in the 5th for the Orioles. The Yankee run came an inning later. Robinson Cano with the ground ball to second scores Derek Jeter, who had doubled. 1-1, and that's where we remain as we head to the 13th. There's Nate McLouth, who hit the solo homer. He waits on deck as Manny Machado leads it off. Walked in the 3rd, struck out in the 4th and the 7th, and flied out to left in the 10th. We're told the x-rays were negative on Jabba Chamberlain's elbow. He has a contusion. He's forced to leave this game after Matt Wieters broke his bat. And it hit Jabba on the right elbow.
That was a good take. See if that resets his eyes and the way he views the pitches.
Well hit into right field, base hit. Swisher will cut it off, tumbling in the gap, and Machado is into second with a leadoff double.
And what does that mean when a guy makes a good take? Well, sometimes he may be taken all the way, but he stayed on this pitch that did not break very well and went the correct area to hit that ball to right center.
Stayed on it. That's the adjustment you want to make. Maybe even think the opposite field as opposed to pulling off the ball. He's got good speed too. He goes right from the beginning, watches Nick make the slide. I'm going to take second. And here he is.
Yeah, you could tell he still had another year if he needed it.
Here's McLouth with one aim, get that runner over to third. On the ground, right side. Mission accomplished. McLouth is out. Machado is at third.
It would have been a gutsy play, Cal, if he made that from second. He had room, but very small room.
I've seen first baseman kind of sneak over there and tell the third baseman, hey, I'm in a little bit. If it comes hard to me, I'm coming to you. But very rarely do you see a second baseman because you give up a little bit of your range. But Robinson Cano, I've seen him do it a couple times, and he was thinking about it. It'd have been close.
Yeah.
The go-ahead run is now at third. One down in the 13th, and here's J.J. Hardy.
it didn't seem like they were very aggressive at third base. Russell came up pumping to third, but Manny wasn't off too far. So
go ahead.
Yeah, just looking at that, you wouldn't think to have contact play is on. They're not going to read it. They're going to give 2 shots to drive him in from third.
Hardy knocked in 68 runs in the regular season. No RBIs in this series, but a great opportunity here. And he went around.
Expanded the zone with that. 2-0. Again, you've got to know the situation. I know it's awfully tempting. That pitch right there is almost in the left-hander's batter's box. Anxiousness will get you nowhere. You've got to be able to trust your hands and get the ball lifted over the infielders.
Tapped foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. David Phelps, the 6th New York pitcher. Orioles trying to stay alive and force a game 5.
I'll be tempted to throw another one in that other batter's box with a breaking ball. If you trust it's going to break, start it on the outside part of the plate. The aggressiveness of the hitter, that was emergency hack right there on a fastball in. But he will show you, he's already shown you he'll expand the zone and swing outside of that home plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. Fly ball left field. Pretty well hit. Ichiro goes back, and that ball is off the wall. The Orioles will have the lead. And Hardy has a stand-up double and his first RBI of this series. 2-1 Baltimore.
Now, I'm sure when we watch this replay, this ball's over the middle of the plate. It allowed him to extend his hands and get the ball in the air. This had to be over, and he went with the cutter slider versus the big breaking ball. Here's the replay, right over the middle of the plate. Nothing to do but put the barrel of the bat on it. No extension whatsoever needed. And at this point, a huge run.
The Orioles break the tie here in the 13th. The Yankees go to the pen. Baltimore leads by 1.
Matt Weiner, Bank of America game break, and the Detroit Tigers have broken things open in Oakland with a 4-1 7th inning. It's all kind of fallen apart for the A's. A hit by pitch that drove in a run, and that error by Stephen Drew, which brought in another. Now 6-0 with Justin Verlander coming out for the bottom half of the 7th.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. Here in the Bronx, top half of the 13th inning. And the 1-1 tie has been broken on a double by J.J. Hardy. Orioles lead at 2-1. Clay Rapata is the latest New York pitcher.
Sidearm left-hander, specialist for the most part. He sees 70 games and only 38 1/3 innings.
Seventh New York pitcher of the night. The Orioles have matched that number. The 0-1 to Chris Davis. Manny Machado, a double to the gap to lead off the 13th. Nate McLouth got him over to third with a ground out to second, and then Hardy delivered the run scoring double. That ball hit to second. Cano to Teixeira for the second out. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Oh, EJ, the dugout for the Orioles sort of looks like a rehearsal for the Rockettes. Joe Saunders was not happy to leave the game, but he's been leading all the cheers. They get together. I go, what are you guys doing? He says, well, we're making up as it goes along. We're taking the bills of our cap. We're all pointing to where we want the ball to be hit. And now they're going to huddle again and see what they want to do for the next batter. But they're having fun, but they certainly want to end this right here.
They'll have some time to think about it as the Yankees make another pitching change. Baltimore has taken the lead here in the 13th. Derek Lowe on his way in. We'll be back. Back here at Yankee Stadium. Midnight in the East. And the Baltimore Orioles have taken the lead over the Yankees here in Game 4, trying to set up a decisive 5th game, which would be later today. In fact, it would be this afternoon at 5 o'clock. If the Orioles hang on.
Quicker turnaround because of the Washington win. If they hang on.
Derek Lowe missed with the first one to Adam Jones. You heard Craig Sager's report. And now the Oriole dugout involves the Gatorade. Way back when, Joe Saunders started this game. 2 balls and a strike to Jones, who is 0 for 5.
You got Alex hanging in there a little bit closer to the bag in a shallow position. Adams been known occasionally to drop a bunt down with 2 outs down that side.
Right back to Lowe. Throws low to first. That's the 3rd out. But the Orioles break the tie. The 20-year-old Manny Machado with a double, and the veteran J.J. Hardy plates him. 2 1-0s. Bottom half of the 13th inning. If the Yankees do not rally here and the Orioles hang on, there will be a Game 5 at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. Today. And Jim Johnson is on again. Smoltzy.
Well, guess what? He's going to face Cano, Tex, and A-Rod. And what he's facing is his inner consciousness to try to be as tough as he's been during the regular season and put away everything of what ifs and could have beens, and just know you got a chance to put yourself in a Game 5. That is easier said than done.
51 saves in the regular season, most in baseball. But in this series, Game 1, game tied 2-2 when Russell Martin took him deep at Camden Yards. And then last night, 9th inning, Raul Ibanez with the Orioles 2 outs away from taking the series lead. Ibanez tied it and later won it. Tonight, bottom of the 13th. And the Orioles put the shift on with Mark Teixeira leading off. 3 infielders on the right side. Ball 1 from Johnson. Count even, a ball and a strike. Johnson ahead 1-2, and Smoltzy, this is where it comes into play, and you hear it all the time about relievers or closers having to have virtually no memory because the very next night comes another opportunity.
Well, we've talked about hitters trying to stay back. That's what you got to do as a pitcher. Stay back, trust your stuff, let the pitch do what it needs to do.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
Anxiousness gets you both ways. It's not just hitting. You know, when you have a power sinker and you're sometimes out in front of it, that's what flattens it down. He's got a good curveball, changeup, and a sinker. Trust it.
Teixeira fouls it off, and the count stays 2-2.
And it's an inner battle of just commitment. It's the demons that crawl in every once in a while and say, okay, here's my film. Your mind is a film. You got to erase it. and you got to focus on the moments that were great for you and let that be your advocate here and not work against you.
Jim Johnson, the 8th Oriole pitcher here in Game 4. Trying to nail it down and set up yet another Game 5 in the division series round. And Teixeira is called out on strikes. One down in the 13th.
Buck Showalter was quick to point out that he's not just a thrower, he's a pitcher. Dropped a curveball here, also a changeup in this at bat to go along with his heavy sinker.
Absolutely. I mean, he's not going to strike out the side more times out of not. He's going to rely on contact and him putting the ball away from the barrel of your bat.
So we got the first out, and now here's Robinson Cano. Swinging at the first pitch on a line to left. McLeod is there, 2 down. And now the Orioles 1 out away from forcing a Game 5, and the Yankees will send Eric Chavez to the plate, another left-handed hitter. That's an 0 for 6 night for Robbie Cano. Chavez has pop. Johnson riding the postseason roller coaster here with the Orioles. Up and away, a ball and a strike.
That one he got a little firm and tried to rush it up there. Curveball from a guy who normally throws sinkers. Your eyes go up like, uh-oh. You're looking for pitches that go away from you on the fastball.
Second straight night that A-Rod's been pinch hit for. Last night it was Ibanez who delivered. Now it's Chavez. The 1-2.
Calls for a really good sinker, trying to bait the outside corner, maybe freeze the outside corner, get him to expand the zone. Decent cut at that curveball right there.
Missed outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Tried to do that with the curveball. Looked like the back door to curveball.
Two and 2 with 2 outs. Liner to Machado, and there will be a Game 5 on Friday afternoon. The Orioles fight off elimination and tie the series at 2 games apiece. And it took 13. Jim Johnson comes on, closes the door in the 13th. And a team that's been known for its resilience all season long shows it once again. Buck Showalter's guys force a Game 5.
You know what's interesting about a Game 5? We could throw all the notes away. Doesn't mean anything.
A look at tonight's Chevy Player of the Game. It is Nate McLeod, who got the Orioles on the board with a solo home run in the 5th. He did the job defensively as well. That catch starting a double play as Russell Martin was doubled off of first. And late in the game moved the runner over, paving the way for the go-ahead run to score. Turned out to be the winning run. And the Baltimore Orioles in 13 win it 2-1. Let's go down to Craig Sager.
Well, I'm with J.J. Hardy. Drove in the winning run of the 13th inning with a double, driving home Manny Machado. And Game 5, what's that sound like for you?
You know, it's what we wanted. We had to win today to get there. So tomorrow's going to be a lot of fun. We got a tough matchup with CC, so it's going to be fun.
Runs were so hard to come by. What were you looking for, and what did you get when you drove in Machado for the game winner?
All game I was telling myself to try not to do too much, and that wasn't working. So that at bat, I told myself to do a little bit more. Swinging at a lot of balls. Unfortunately, I got one that I can elevate.
We kind of kidded you earlier in this series about the base running mistake possibly at third. We talked about the pressure of the postseason. In a game that lasts this long with 13 innings, is it frustrating out there, or what's it like when you know every single play can make the difference?
Frustrating is not the word. I mean, if we lose, then it's frustrating, but it's intense. I mean, we understand every play matters, and our bullpen did a great job tonight to give us as many chances as we did.
You've been battling the Yankees even all season long. Now it's 2-2. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings about a Game 5 at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon?
It's going to be fun. We're looking forward to it.
All right, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Back up to you, EJ.
Took a while, but J.J. Hardy got his first RBI of this series, and it came in the 13th inning. Turns out to be the game winner. Jason Hamill, CC Sabathia, Game 5, 5 o'clock. Unbelievable.
It really is. This whole postseason's been unbelievable. And you know what? The Orioles haven't lost back-to-back one-run games. And certainly the Yankees going 4-0 versus the Twins, 0-5 against everybody else. You just want this, if you're the Orioles, a chance. I know you don't want to go necessarily against CC, but in a Game 5, literally, it's anything is possible.
Anything can happen, and JJ used the right words, intense. You know, they're going to be tired, but then the adrenaline's going to keep them through to tomorrow's game. And yes, CC's got it going on, but they have a chance.
29 one-run wins in the regular season for the Orioles, 2 here in the postseason. Game 5 on Friday. Our final score, the Orioles beat the Yankees 2-1 in 13. For John Smoltz and Cal Ripken and Craig Sager and the rest of the crew, this is Ernie Johnson saying good night or good morning from New York. TBS is your home for the Division Series and the exclusive home of the American League Championship Series. We're going to send you to Matt Weiner in our Atlanta studio. A long night, and what a series this has been. It will conclude with a decisive Game 5.